Chapter 28-49. Go to the Flash world. Give me the direction, I'll go find it myself. Yes. Lin Ling looked at Red Jade Tiger and said. You have to be careful. The 10,000 worlds around the Qin province are in chaos. In this year, there have been worlds being massacred. I don't know what the murderer wants to do. Red Jade Tiger said. The rainforest sacred land isn't safe either. Everyone, follow me to another place. Yes. Lin Ling pondered for a moment and planned to let the remaining people go to the Flame World fragment. He also sensed that after the Son of Heaven's mandate appeared, the 10,000 worlds were in chaos. Then, he didn't hide anything from Lord Eighth and the others and activated the Spacetime Divine Steel. Isn't this the Spacetime Divine Steel that the Sovereign Marquis has been looking for? Seeing this, Red Jade Tiger and the others were shocked. They didn't expect the Spacetime Divine Steel to be with Lin Ling. This guy hit it well. The Spacetime Divine Steel belongs to me, Lin Ling. Does the Sovereign Marquis think he can find it just because he wants to? Lin Ling replied with a smile. The Spacetime Divine Steel was one of his trump cards and he usually didn't use it easily. However, in order to protect Ancestor Tai Yen and the others, Lord Eighth and the others had waited here for a year. This made Lin Ling very grateful, so he didn't hide this trump card. TSK, this mysterious thing gives people a lot of pressure. I'm afraid even a second-level martial immortal can't block this thing. Lord Eighth said with a serious expression. In the Five-Ring City, Lin Ling had defeated a first-level martial immortal expert. However, he felt that if Lin Ling used the Spacetime Divine Steel, his strength could still increase. Therefore, when he thought that Lin Ling was only a true god, Lord Eighth immediately felt that Lin Ling was simply a monster. Lin Ling already knew about this. As his strength increased, the Spacetime Divine Steel became stronger and stronger. After that, Lin Ling allowed everyone from the Rainforest Holy Land to enter the ancient monument. The Death Arrow Martial God also followed. To Lin Ling, the Death Arrow Martial God was the last person from the Rainforest Holy Land. Yu and the rest woke up and happily looked at Lin Ling. However, after knowing that Lin Ling had important matters to attend to, they obediently entered the ancient monument even though they were reluctant. Lin Ling took them through the time and space Divine Steel and arrived at the Flame World fragment. TSK, what a dense fire-type spiritual energy. Could this be the ancient Flame World? Lord Eighth and the others also followed Lin Ling, and at this moment, their horizons were broadened. Following that, when the people from Evil Flame School walked out, they found out that Lin Ling had secretly hidden a huge force. Greetings, sect leader. Evil Flame School was the biggest sect in the Flame World fragment. At this moment, everyone bowed respectfully to Lin Ling. Among them were Yan Shan King, Vice Sect Leader Yan Yeyu, Lin Ling's old friends, Elder Chen and Yang Xiaotian. At this moment, they were all looking at Lin Ling with joy. Moreover, after Lin Ling had imparted the demonic flame change to them, their strength had greatly increased. These are my family. They are my wives. This is my grandfather. In the following days, they will be staying here. Because of the changes in my hometown, it is very dangerous, so I will have to trouble you to take care of them. Lin Ling looked at Yan Shan King and the others and explained. We will listen to sect leader's orders. Yan Shan King quickly bowed and said. In the past, their Evil Flame School was almost completely wiped out. It was Lin Ling who saved them. Hence, Lin Ling's words were no different from fate to the Flame World fragment. Thank you. Lin Ling also bowed to Yan Shan King and the others, making them feel flattered. Ancestor Tai Yen and the others were shocked. They never thought that Lin Ling would become the sect leader. If I remember correctly, this is Brother Ling's first sect in his life. Yu and Xian Yuan Gu were also shocked. Then, they looked at everyone. Although the people in the rainforest Holy Land had all passed away, at least their families were still there. The only one who was not there was Inuer. This was a pity. Lin Ling made a long story short. After giving his instructions, he left with Lord 8th and Lord 9th. Through the time steel, they appeared in the rainforest Holy Land. Chi Yuhu and the others were shocked by the power of the time steel. Because if not for the time steel, they would not have been able to find the fragment. It was probably hidden in some corner of the 10,000 worlds. And Lin Ling brought his family and friends there. It was undoubtedly very safe. Lin Ling, this time, the 10,000 worlds around Qing State were destroyed. Previously, we thought that some crazy demon was born. But in this year, we analyzed that the culprit is very likely from Qing State. The three of them stood on the highest peak of Gu Yen sect. Chi Yuhu looked into the distance. The great Qing divine dynasty used the Qing Emperor Universe Mirror to deal with this massacre. They wanted to see the culprit, but the Qing Emperor Universe Mirror that can see through everything was deceived. No one could see the culprit. Chi Yuhu said. Qing Emperor Universe Mirror. Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes flashed. Generally speaking, as long as it is in the Qing state, nothing can be hidden from the Qing Emperor Universe Mirror. There are only two reasons for the mirror to be deceived. First, the culprit is not from Qing state. Second, someone did something to the mirror. If the second guess is correct, it means that the culprit is very powerful. There are less than 10 people in Qing state who have such power. Lord 8 said. It seems that it is related to the Son of Heaven's mandate. But no matter who it is, I will find him. Lin Ling also knew that the culprit was scarier than he imagined. There is nothing in the 6 camps that can help you on your trip to the Flash boundary. I will give you a fire-stepping Qilin. This divine beast has the 5 realms speed. It can save you a lot of energy. Chi Yuhu looked at Lin Ling and roared at the sky. Then, a flame light shot over. Next, a majestic Qilin appeared in the sky. Its whole body was covered with green scales. Flames came out of its nostrils. Its thick limbs stepped on the sky. Flames appeared under its 4 hooves. It was as if it was stepping on fire. Thank you, my lord. Lin Ling bowed to Chi Yuhu and Lord 8 and jumped up. The fire-stepping Qilin also knew Lin Ling's identity. It obediently waited for Lin Ling to arrive. After Lin Ling sat down, the fire-stepping Qilin roared like a lion. It was majestic. What a handsome kid. Looking at Lin Ling riding the Qilin, Lord 8 and the others praised him. Farewell, my lord. Lin Ling waved his hand at the ground. The fire-stepping Qilin roared and rushed into the sky. It was heading towards the chaos of the universe. Rumble. It was like a shooting star galloping through the starry sky. It was extremely dazzling. In this year, I heard about Lin Ling's story. I didn't expect him to be so loyal. Yes, old Qi the martial god camp didn't find the wrong person this time. Looking at the figure that disappeared in the sky, Chi Yuhu and Lord 8 also left. There was no one left in the rainforest sacred land. It was even more peaceful. A strong wind blew, blowing Lin Ling's long hair. His face was extremely cold. He wanted to know who the culprit was. Chapter 2850. Coming to exterminate the world. Ahead was like a starry sky with flickering lights, but Lin Ling seemed to see familiar faces. Daoist came, the 7 emperors, the Jade Lake Heavenly Mother, the generals of the Heaven Mystics Kingdom. There were too many. Lin Ling already carried their vengeance on his shoulders. Swish. Stepping on the fire Qilin, the speed of the 5 realms was extremely fast. It traversed through 10,000 realms as though time was flowing. Lin Ling looked at the boundless 10,000 realms and looked at the various realms. Every realm had its own legends and history that could be traced back to the ancient era. Martial arts were like seeds that were scattered in the 10,000 realms. Flash Realm. A jade slip appeared in Lin Ling's hand, which recorded the location of this realm. The Flash Realm was a tiny realm in the north. Its area was even smaller than the rainforest sacred ground, but in the nearby area, this realm was extremely famous. Because this realm was very chaotic, it was a lawless area where good people mixed with bad people and gathered many villains in the north. Noisy noises came out from the interface, and there were also faint cries of pain. Some women with disheveled clothes were being ravaged. However, the people behind them couldn't care less. They were laughing wantonly, and in the end, they tortured those women to death. Ha! So satisfying. Silly women who can't see past it. Maniacal laughter continued to ring out. A 3-meter-tall man with a bare upper body roared at the sky, as if to prove his strength. Big brother, you're still the best. Now that many realms in the north have been destroyed, our Flash Realm can also dominate. That's right, not long ago in the Mortal Spirit Realm, Big Brother used the Yiksha Divine Explosion to defeat that trash, Reverend Chen-Ling. At that time, the entire Mortal Spirit Realm was in awe. Impressive, impressive, I think Big Brother has few opponents in the true God Realm. If Big Brother steps into the martial immortal realm in the future, TSK, even the Qing province can't stop Big Brother's footsteps. The flattery was like a wave, which made the man laugh even louder. However, he said modestly, there is always someone better. The experts in the Qing province aren't people that I can resist, but in the north, there are indeed not many people who can stop me. Roar. At this moment, the roar of a divine beast came from the sky. Then, an awe-inspiring Qilin came running over. Wow, what a handsome divine beast. This divine beast is a perfect match for Big Brother. The martial artists of the flickering world were stunned for a moment, then they all began to laugh excitedly. It seemed that the fire-stepping Qilin already belonged to them. Big Brother, the fire-stepping Qilin heard of your great name, so it came here because of you. It's not that I, Iron Destroyer, am arrogant, but in the North Territory, when I say one, no one dares to say two. If I want to fight someone, they don't even dare to look at me. That's why this god beast came here. Now, watch me capture that god beast. Following the man's voice, the cheers grew even louder. However, before that man could make a move, a dazzling sword light suddenly slashed towards him. Fast, incomparably fast. Whoosh! A muffled sound rang out at the same time. The man had just walked out when his right arm was chopped off. His entire body froze on the spot, seemingly unable to react. Everyone's faces were also frozen in place. They had just finished flattering the man, but in the next moment, their strongest boss had his right arm chopped off. The shock this scene gave them was too intense. Who are you? The man rubbed his broken arm and stared at the sky because he realized that there was someone on the fire-stepping Qilin. Die. However, the answer he got was a sword. A huge sword light chopped off his head, causing the flickering world to fall silent. Everyone was panicking. Who are you? Not long after, 5 old men walked out of the flickering world. Some of them were fat, some were thin, and some were even skeletons. However, they all had the same characteristics. That was, their eyes were as red as blood, and there was a moon mark on their forehead. In fact, all the martial artists in the world were like this. Only by having this mark could one be considered a dragon slayer. This was a method of changing one's bloodline through blood changing and bone washing. In the sky, the fire-stepping Qilin stopped and looked at the ground with cold eyes. On the Qilin, a man with a huge sword on his back walked down step by step. The 5 old men also looked at the sky. One of them even grabbed a woman and licked and touched her body. The evil aura was extremely dense. However, after the 5 of them moved out, the flickering world also quietened down. Everyone's shock seemed to have been appeased because they knew that the 5 old ancestors were magnates at the 7th level of true God realm. How could ordinary people dare to provoke them? Did you guys destroy my rainforest sacred ground? In the sky, the man did not talk nonsense and asked directly. At this moment, the 5 old men knew why the other party had come. During this period of time, they had destroyed many realms. Sir, do you know what you're saying? However, they would definitely not admit to this matter. One of the skinny old men said coldly. Rumble. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a gigantic sword smashed down from the sky like a giant tablet. Under countless gazes, Pai Mo, who was one of the ancestors who had led them to conquer the North Territory, was smashed into meat paste. Old heavenly poison ghost. Seeing this, the other 4 old men's faces changed drastically. The 5 of them were fugitives. 1,000 years ago, they arrived at the flickering world and slaughtered everyone in this world. After that, they occupied this world. In the following years, they had helped each other and saved each other's lives. That kind of friendship was formed through life and death. But now, one of the 5 of them was dead. Moreover, the other party attacked without saying anything. It was faster to kill them. You're courting death. Kill him, I want to use his head as a urinal. The 4 old men roared ferociously and each of them displayed their martial arts and rushed to the sky. The enormous martial arts they used immediately caused the flickering world to sway. The old men are angry. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They had followed the old men for so many years, but this was the first time they had seen them so angry. That mysterious young man was dead for sure. However, in their eyes, the young man stood in the sky like a javelin. Moreover, his right hand was stretched out very straight as if he was holding something. However, in reality, there was nothing in his right hand. This strange figure immediately caused some people to be stunned. What kind of martial arts was this strange martial arts posture? However, the 4 old men did not care so much. Each of their moves was fatal and ruthless. They wanted to tear the young man apart and destroy him alive. Sword, come. Finally, the young man spoke. Rumble. The huge sword that had smashed the old man to pieces was now shot into the sky and then grasped in the young man's hand. It turned out that he had straightened his right hand because he was preparing to catch the sword. Chapter 28:51. Slaughter. However, what shocked them even more was yet to come. The young man took a step forward, and without using any martial arts, the giant sword swept out. Crackling sounds were immediately heard, and the martial arts of the 4 ancestors were all broken. Then, the sound of bones breaking and flesh being cut could be heard clearly. The 4 patriarchs either had their arms or legs chopped off. One of them was even chopped in half. At this moment, he was looking at his lower body in disbelief. Run! This terrifying scene caused the hearts of this group of vicious people to tremble fiercely. However, when they wanted to escape, there were billowing flames rising in the distance, firmly surrounding them in a circular position. Moreover, some of the martial artists who tried to rush out of the encirclement of the flames were directly burned to ashes after approaching the flames. There was no escape. Destroy my homeland. In the sky, the young man held the giant sword and walked down step by step like a killing god. It was as if he was slaughtering a flock of sheep trapped in a cage. Spare us, hero, spare us. Even though this group of people had killed countless people, they still felt uneasy at this moment. This was because they were looking at a god of death. Without asking for a reason, the moment he appeared, he would kill all of them. Who asked you to attack? With a swing of the young man's sword, hundreds of warriors were cut into nothingness. Senior, you've got the wrong person. Out of the 4 old men, 2 of them had already died. The remaining 2 said nervously. I've got your whole family wrong. Boom. What answered them was a giant sword, a cold and merciless sword. One of the old men was hit in the head by the giant sword, and then his head bloomed like a flower. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere, and even an eyeball fell into the arms of a warrior. He was so frightened that he quickly threw the eyeball away, and his whole body trembled as if he was drenched in rain. Who destroyed my rainforest sacred land? Senior, what is the rainforest sacred land? I'm innocent. The remaining ancestor felt as if his heart was struck by thunder. During this period of time, they had destroyed many realms, but they really couldn't remember where the rainforest sacred land was. Innocent? Lin Ling's gaze was as cold as ice. When he looked at the old ancestor's body began to tremble. What a cold gaze. It was a tyrannical, crazy, and even hysterical gaze. This caused the old man to laugh bitterly in his heart. He didn't understand how he had offended this malefic star. Whoosh! Lin Ling sheathed his sword, took a step forward, and appeared in front of the old man. His big hand grabbed out, and actually pulled out the old man's arm. Crash! Fresh blood suddenly gushed out like a fountain, sprinkling onto Lin Ling's body, making him look even more like a blood-soaked god of slaughter. Give me back Mistress Water Mist. Whoosh! He exerted more force with both hands, and the old man's left arm was pulled out. The bones were clearly visible, and the old man's face was as pale as paper. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even scream. How terrifying! Everyone knelt down in fright. Some of the more cowardly ones even kowtowed. They didn't know how they had provoked this demon. It was too terrifying. Senior, you have misunderstood. The old man's arms were pulled out, and he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. However, he didn't even dare to scream. He just wanted this indifferent youth to spare his life. He also saw that the youth seemed to be venting his anger on him. It was obvious that such a person wouldn't rest until he was dead. If this misunderstanding wasn't resolved, it didn't matter what kind of experts came today. The other party was going to kill him. Misunderstanding? Give me back Spiritual Master Kame. Give me back the Heaven Mystic's kingdom. Lin Ling seemed to have gone crazy. His long hair was dyed with fresh blood as he pulled out the old man's flesh piece by piece. Every piece of flesh was like a blood debt. Furthermore, Lin Ling had also struck out with his realm essence. He didn't want the old man to die, but he wanted him to have a taste of the most painful purgatory in the world. He also saw that so many people had died in the rainforest sacred land, but this group of people was still drinking and chatting merrily. Hence, Lin Ling had also lost his rationality. He wanted this group of ruffians to return his family and friends. Kill me. I beg you. Kill me. The old man was tortured until he didn't look like a human or a ghost. He couldn't wait to die like this. He had done many bad things in his life and knew that there would be retribution sooner or later. However, he didn't expect that the retribution would be so terrifying. At home, there are friends that I will never forget. They just wanted to live a peaceful life. Why did you kill them? Lin Ling extended his right hand and suddenly grabbed the old man's head. His enormous spiritual strength was like lightning as it wreaked havoc on the old man, causing him to spit out white foam from his mouth. Right now, he only had the desire to die. It was a person called Lord Xiong Huang. He was the one who ordered us to destroy the North region. He wanted to refine the soul bone altar. Hence, he wanted to take away everyone's souls, bones, and flesh. He is now going to the Red Region's Jian Tsang Mountain. Senior, I beg you. Kill me. Give me a quick death. Finally, the old man cried out in pain. He couldn't take it anymore. It was because both his body and soul had suffered inhumane torture. Bang! Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes turned red. He clenched his right hand and the old man's head exploded. Then, as if he couldn't vent his anger, he pulled with both hands and tore the old man's hands apart. Plop! Everyone on the ground was pale with fright. Even if they were numb to killing, they were still scared to death by Lin Ling's madness. This young man was a berserk lord. Xiong Huang. Lin Ling roared at the sky. He still couldn't vent his anger. Because when he knew that the other party wanted to refine the soul bone altar, he felt like his heart was being cut by a knife. In the past, every time he returned to the rainforest sacred land, the friends who greeted him with a smile would end up like this. He was angry. He couldn't accept it. He hated himself for being too weak. Bang! Lin Ling stepped into the sky. The entire sky exploded. Spatial fragments fell to the ground like glass. He shot into the universe. That terrifying lord is finally gone. We must have killed his people by mistake. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so crazy. Let's hurry and leave. I'm scared just thinking about the previous scene. Luckily, he seems to have gone mad with anger and forgot about us. I hope that guy rushes to the territory of the strong and is killed by the strong. The martial practitioners of the flickering light world wanted to escape. However, before they could move, a burning cloud appeared in the sky. An oppressive aura rolled over. A huge coffin floated in the sky. The coffin was covered in flames and jumped like a heart. It was getting closer and closer to them. No! Those who thought they had escaped disaster all shouted. Only now did they know that the cold youth didn't plan on letting them go. However, what was the use of begging? In their eyes, the flaming coffin was getting closer and closer. Are we going to die? We've destroyed more than 50 worlds. Is there finally retribution? At this moment, everyone's hearts were dead. They had completely given up on running. Only bitterness and regret were on their faces. Chapter 2852. 100 Sect Conference at Grey Dianshan Mountain. Rumble. When the flaming coffin descended, the flickering world froze. Looking from the universal void, a dazzling flaming light appeared, as though a sword had slashed the flickering world. Following that, countless flaming waves rushed out of the light and destroyed the flickering world. This world had been destroyed, and it had been completely wiped out. In the distant universal void, Lin Ling had his hands behind his back as he looked ahead indifferently. With his righteous personality, he would not be able to sleep until he found the culprit. If he were to die one day, he would not be able to rest in peace. To the Crimson State. Go. After watching silently for a moment, Lin Ling leaped onto the fire Qilin and transformed into a ray of light that headed towards the distant Crimson State. His mind had also regained its calm. He had no impression of Lord Realgar. He did not understand why the other party had attacked. Of course, he was certain that the other party definitely knew him, because that line of words had already explained everything. If I want to understand everything, I have to find Realgar. Lin Ling knew very well that it would take a long time to reach the Crimson State from the Green State. However, if he were to travel from the North Territory and take some shortcuts, he could reach the border of the Crimson State in 10 days. As for the Grey Dianshan Mountain, perhaps he would only know its location when he neared the Crimson State. The universal void was vast and boundless. Take the North Territory for example, it was actually as vast as the ocean. The North Territory that the Green State warriors spoke of was actually the North Territory near the Green State. It did not include the entire North Territory. This was because to many people, they would never be able to leave the Green State in their entire lives. Of course, this problem did not include Lin Ling. At that moment, in a very deep place in the North Territory, a large number of figures were walking in the void. Grey Dianshan Mountain, 100 Sect Conference. Interesting, interesting. These people were wearing the sect's robes and were led by a few elders. They were all heading in a certain direction. The annual 100 Sect Conference has begun. 9 Firmament Cloud Sect, meet Jin Xiao at the conference. In the distance, a large white shark was swimming in the void. A large number of people stood on top of it. An old man who looked like a sect master smiled faintly. "I'll wait for you." On the other side, the middle-aged sect master replied with a sneer. Whoosh! At the same time, a multicolored sun chaser wind rain eagle the size of a town flew over. This divine beast had the 6 realms speed and was an extremely rare mount. At this moment, a large number of people were standing on top of the divine beast. Even though the sun chaser wind rain eagle was very fast, these people were still standing like pine trees. This showed how strong they were. Surpassed the Red Cloud sect. The eyes of the nearby cultivators lit up when they saw this. Because this was a huge sect, and there were countless geniuses in this sect. He didn't expect that this kind of sect would also participate in the 100 Sect Conference. If he didn't remember wrongly, this sect was a 6th grade sect. Looks like this year's 100 Sect Conference will be the grandest. All disciples, listen up. In this 100 Sect Conference, you are only allowed to win, you are not allowed to lose. Voices rang out in the various sects as everyone headed towards Tsangdian Mountain one after another. After the crowd disappeared, there were still sects moving forward in the void. However, compared to the previous large sects, these sects were much smaller. TSK, that was the 5 Kings sect of Mount Tai previously. The entire sect had 100,000 disciples and countless geniuses. Look at our sect, we only have 800 people. If it wasn't for the long history of our sect that caused everyone to know about it, I wouldn't even want to participate in this 100 Sect Conference. Those small sects said helplessly. That sect is even more powerful. There's only one person. Suddenly, someone pointed to the front and said. This was because there was a Qilin standing quietly in the void. On top of the Qilin, a blue-robed young man was looking at them coldly. It was the 100 Sect Conference now. Therefore, that person should be here to participate in the 100 Sect Conference. However, there was only one person. This was somewhat ironic. Of course, the young man didn't seem to hear the strange gazes of the people. He continued to sit on the Qilin quietly like a statue. If it wasn't for the fact that he was too cold, some people would have gone over to ask him. Until the nearby sects changed a few more times, the blue-robed young man finally moved. In a corner of the void, a small sect with only 500 people was rushing to the 100 Sect Conference. However, as they were moving forward, a young man riding a Qilin appeared. What sect are you from? I want to join your sect. The young man smiled and said to an old man in the sect. This time, everyone in the sect was startled. Was this guy crazy? Sir, are you drunk? The sect leader frowned. Wasn't it a joke to suddenly meet someone blocking their path and ask to join their sect? This was because how could one join a sect just because they wanted to? Bang! The young man was still smiling, but his figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the sect leader. Moreover, his hand was like a claw that grabbed the sect leader's neck. I also want to get drunk. Unfortunately, I've finished all my wine during this period of rushing. When the sect leader reacted, he instantly heard the young man's somewhat innocent voice. However, his heart was trembling. What a fast speed! He probably possessed the speed of 7 realms. As for the disciples of this sect, each and every one of them were like cicadas in winter. This was because they had never expected that their sect leader, whom they admired in the past, would be subdued in one move. Sir, we're just a small sect. The sect leader smiled bitterly. He was an expert at the 9th level of the true God realm, but he was subdued in one move. This made him realize that he was definitely not the other party's match. However, such a person actually didn't belong to any sect. If the various large sects knew about this, they would probably beg the young man to join their sect. I know. However, I do need the identity of a sect now, so I'll have to trouble you. The young man smiled and gave off an amiable feeling. You can join us. The sect leader shook his head helplessly. He didn't believe that amiable smile because if he rejected it, he would definitely end up in a miserable state. Thank you. The young man shrugged his shoulders and let go of the sect leader. Subsequently, he walked into the crowd of disciples. The sect leader glanced at him and waved his hand helplessly. Let's go. He could guess that the other party seemed to want to participate in the 100 sect conference, but he didn't have a sect behind him, so he joined their sect. Regarding this, as long as the young man didn't do anything that would harm the sect, he couldn't be bothered. Of course, he couldn't be bothered with most of them. As they followed the sect forward, the surrounding young men's gazes were filled with reverence and they didn't dare to say a word. However, Lin Ling ignored them and looked ahead instead. Great Yenshan Mountain, 100 Sect Conference. He had a feeling that Lord Realmfire should be there. As they moved forward, more and more sects appeared and there were many people. Finally, everyone landed on a huge realm. Chapter 2853. He finally saw Realgar. Lin Ling's soul power quietly spread out and he shockingly discovered that there were many experts there. There were quite a few martial immortal experts, which meant that the Scarlet Province was even more powerful than the Azure Province. One had to know that this was only the border region of the Scarlet Province. If there were so many martial immortals at the border region, what about the core region? Take the Azure Province as an example. At the border region, true gods could create a sect or even a big sect. Martial immortals could only appear in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. The 100 Sect Gathering is a feast that has been passed down for tens of millions of years. Today, we are indebted to everyone for giving us face and participating. Your presence brings light to my humble gray mountain. A polite voice rang out, causing Lin Ling to shake his head. He was truly not interested in such polite words. His gaze kept on searching within the crowd, but he did not find Lord Realgar. Instead, he saw the strength of the disciples from the big sections. Generally speaking, those genius disciples were a bit more powerful than those from the Azure Province. It was because those geniuses all had the strength of the Azure Province's first generation. Moreover, there were quite a few people who were even more powerful. They were likely not weaker than the Azure Province's 9 heavens. As he searched, Lin Ling also noticed a young man on top of a mountain peak. That person's clothing and way of doing things were clearly different from the people around him. It was a bit similar to the people from the Azure Province. Moreover, Lin Ling saw that the people around him had completely different attitudes towards that young man. Realgar, genius of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. It is our honor for you to represent the Great Azure Divine Dynasty to participate in the 100 Sect Gathering. Not at all, not at all. I've only come on the orders of Milord. Milord admires the 100 sects in this region a lot and specially told me to come and pay a visit. Really? I've heard that Brother Realgar is a favorite of Milord. At such a young age, you're already one of the 20 most outstanding geniuses of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. It is our fortune to be able to know Brother Realgar. On the mountain peak, the geniuses all around were flattering. Although they were elites of their sects, they knew even more how terrifying Realgar's background was. He was someone that the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's God Empress valued. Although the Azure Province was inferior to the Scarlet Province, the God Empress was more powerful than anyone present. So, if they could curry favor with the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's Empress Dowager, there were only benefits and no harm. Therefore, not only them, but even the leaders of the various sects were also very respectful towards Realgar. I heard that the divine bell of Qin Province has rung and the Son of Heaven's fate has opened. I think Brother Xiong Huang must have a Son of Heaven's fate. He must be the most dazzling genius of Qin Province and will soon surpass the 9 heavens. Someone laughed. It's nothing. The young man called Realgar was very young and looked very ordinary. At this moment, he modestly waved his hand. I've heard that the most dazzling genius in Qin province is someone called Lin something. This person is the most monstrous genius in the history of Qin province. He's almost catching up to the 9 heavens of Qin province. Another person said. It was obvious that this person often wandered around Qin province and was somewhat familiar with Qin province. His name is Lin Ling. He is indeed a bit amazing, but that's all. Because he obtained the Azure Emperor's Jade Seal, he attracted a lot of attention. Hearing this, Realgar immediately replied with a smile. Brother Realgar is right. A mere Lin Ling something. Oh, he's called Lin Ling. When he meets Brother Realgar, he can only kneel down and kowtow. Someone at the side immediately flattered. It's not as exaggerated as you say. Lin Ling does have some ability, but he's too ignorant. He doesn't understand the ways of the world and thinks that just because he has some ability, he won't give face to the big shots. This kind of person won't go far. Of course, young people are all like this. If I have the chance to meet him, I'll still give him some pointers and let him know that there is always someone better than him. Realgar said modestly. What a dog's mouth. However, just as he finished speaking, a cold voice sounded at the same time. At this moment, Sangdian Mountain fell silent. Everyone frowned, wondering who was so bold. Which expert is sneaking around? What kind of hero are you? A handsome young man reprimanded. Sneaking around? Do you have a pair of dog eyes? I'm right here. Don't tell me your dog eyes can't see me. What surprised everyone was that the person who came was fearless and actually walked out. This was a young man, but his spirit was trembling. His cultivation was at the 8th true god realm. This kind of cultivation could only be considered average in the 100 sects. Are you the one who spoke? Everyone stared at the young man. They didn't understand why this young man was so arrogant when his cultivation was so low. Sir, you seem to be scolding me before. Could it be that there's some misunderstanding between us? Realgar frowned slightly and said indifferently. Lin Ling looked at him and his eyes turned red. This was the person who killed the people of the rainforest Holy Land. You know me? Realgar frowned even more when he sensed Lin Ling's murderous gaze. How can I not know you? I can't wait to kill you. I'm the Lin Ling you're talking about. Lin Ling said coldly. Realgar's expression changed slightly. Of course, he knew Lin Ling. He was a popular person in the Qin province. Not long ago, he was ordered by the Lord to destroy the world, so he also went to destroy the rainforest Holy Land. Because someone asked him to destroy the rainforest Holy Land, and he knew that Lin Ling was going to destroy the country. Therefore, he wanted to use the destruction of the world to tell Lin Ling that the act of destroying a country was too inexperienced. So it's you. I didn't expect you to come here too. Realgar sneered. He didn't put the legendary Lin Ling in his eyes. Even a dog like you can come, why can't I? Lin Ling retorted. What an arrogant kid. Brother Realgar, who is this person? He's Lin Ling from the Qin province. He's the person you were discussing just now. So weak? It's better to meet him in person than to hear about him. After a round of discussion, the various sects came to a sudden realization. However, they looked at Lin Ling with disdain. The Qin province was ultimately weaker than the Crimson province, and the current situation had proven this fact. He was only at the 8th level of true god realm, yet he was called the most monstrous genius in the Qin province. It was simply an undeserved reputation. He actually came to the Crimson province from the Qin province to participate in our 100-sect conference. This kid is really persistent. Senior brother Realgar, just say the word. I want him to kneel in front of you. Kid, do you know where this is? Slap yourself 3 times. Many elites from various sects who wanted to curry favor with Realgar started to flaunt their prowess in front of Lin Ling. However, Lin Ling ignored them. He didn't forget the purpose of his trip. Realgar, I want to ask you. Who sent you to my hometown? I was wondering why you came here. It turns out that the world was destroyed, so you flew into a rage out of humiliation. Chapter 28:54. 18 Ravines of the 9 Dragons, I'm going to kill you. Lin Ling's face turned even colder when he saw Xiong Huang's smug look. Do you want to know who destroyed your hometown? Sure, join the 100 Sect Conference. Find me and I'll tell you the answer. Xiong Huang suddenly said through gritted teeth after laughing loudly. If Lin Ling died in his hands, it would be a great achievement when he returned. Moreover, Lin Ling had come alone. He could not help but admire Lin Ling's courage. However, since he had come, he could not leave. Interesting, really interesting. Let him join the 100 Sect Conference. If he meets me, I'll show him what a genius is. The other elites from the other sects also rubbed their hands together, their interest piqued. Looking at the gloating looks on everyone's faces, Lin Ling smiled, turned around, and left to make preparations. You don't dare to play anymore. You want to run away. Xiong Huang thought that Lin Ling was scared. After all, Lin Ling was alone and this was not Qingzhou. How could Lin Ling cause any trouble? However, Lin Ling still walked forward and extended his right hand. His palm was facing the sky and he suddenly clenched his fist. I'll kill you at the 100 Sect Conference. Then, a cold voice quietly entered everyone's ears like the wind. Everyone was stunned for a moment, stunned by Lin Ling's resolute look. However, they soon burst into laughter. Lin Ling did not seem to understand that this was Crimson Province and not Qingzhou. Brother Xiong Huang, if we enter the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons, I'll take care of him for you. You guys have to protect him well. If anything goes wrong, I'll hold all of you responsible. Sect leader, don't worry. It's just Lin Ling. He can't cause any trouble. Around Xiong Huang, the elites of the various sects all laughed. Even the sect masters of the various sects attached great importance to Xiong Huang. This was because Xiong Huang was one of the people of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's Empress Dowager. She represented the Empress Dowager and came here to form a friendship. Therefore, if she died here, it would be difficult for them to explain their mission. The 100 Sect Conference was obviously a grand banquet in the Crimson Province. It was extremely grand and was even held in other places in the Crimson Province. The main purpose of the assembly was to gather profound light grass. This was an extremely rare treasure that only appeared in the Crimson Province. However, in the past, there had been many wars in the Crimson Province for these spiritual herbs. Therefore, there was now a rule that these spiritual herbs could only be collected once a year, and the sect that won would also receive a generous reward. The only rule of the 100 Sect gathering is that if we encounter spirit beasts of the 9 dragons and 18 ravines, everyone must work together to eradicate them. At this time, no sect is allowed to attack each other. At other times, you can do whatever you want. A voice rang out in the sky. It was the rules of the 100 Sect Conference, causing everyone to smile. This rule had been passed down for millions of years, so even without the reminder, they were well aware of it. 9 dragons and 18 grooves, open. Rumble. The interface shook, and then a huge crack appeared. The crack was pitch black and filled with dense spiritual energy. The spiritual energy was like a hot wind, giving people an extremely comfortable feeling. 9 dragons and 18 grooves, legend has it that it was the place where 18 ancestral dragons fought in the ancient era. TSK, the other name of the 9 dragons and 18 grooves is the spiritual herb garden. Let's go in. Our sect must obtain a good ranking this time. The disciples of the various large sects entered one after another, and even some sect leaders entered. The condition for victory or defeat in the 100-sect conference was to see which sect obtained the most profound light grass. Among all the sects, only Lin Ling was alone. He did not say a word and walked towards the crack. There were too many experts here, so he obviously could not kill Realgar. He only had a chance at the 9 dragons and 18 grooves. This was also the reason why he participated in the 100-sect conference. Kid, you better be obedient. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Not far from Lin Ling, a thin and weak young man looked at Lin Ling and sneered. Lin Ling ignored him and disappeared into the huge crack. How arrogant. That disdainful look pisses me off. Catch up to him. It's best to kill him. Maybe Brother Realgar will value us and bring us to the great Azure God dynasty. The people around the thin and weak young man said coldly. Then, they followed closely behind Lin Ling. In their opinion, Lin Ling was simply a piece of meat in their mouths. They were even more afraid that this piece of meat would be snatched away by others. After entering the huge crack and reappearing, they were already in the endless mountains and swamps. When a person was here, it was as if they were on the scales of a dragon. The dragon was very, very big, like a long and narrow continent. This was the 9 dragons and 18 grooves. Bastard, he's gone. How could this be? Based on our speed, we should be following closely behind him. Could it be that he realized that we were following him, so he immediately escaped after entering this place? We've been tricked. After those people appeared, they looked around and their faces instantly turned ugly. That was because Lin Ling had disappeared. What should we do now? Let's go and collect the hidden gate grass. It's said that even the sect leader hasn't explored all of the 9 dragons and 18 grooves. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack to find a person here. Yeah, anyway, Lin Ling will find Brother Realgar sooner or later. If we go to Brother Realgar's place, we should be able to meet Lin Ling. At that time, Lin Ling won't be our turn to attack. There are many people who want to flatter Brother Realgar. Those people continued to talk and their faces turned even uglier. Bang! At that moment, a black shadow suddenly shot from afar and landed on the ground. Those people's faces changed as they thought that it was a sneak attack. However, when they saw the head clearly, all of them were enraged. That was because they knew that person. It was their junior brother. Moreover, from the horrified expression on the head, they could tell that their junior brother had died a horrible death. It seemed that he had encountered something horrible before he died. That made them clench their fists tightly. Our junior brother was a sincere person who stood aloof from worldly affairs. Who killed him? Right, when we were at the sect, I heard that he took the initiative to follow Lin Ling. Could it be Lin Ling? It must be him, bastard. Those people cursed angrily. They didn't expect that they wouldn't be able to find Lin Ling, but one of their own had died. However, although they were angry, they couldn't do anything about it. They could only move on. At the other corner of the 9 dragons and 18 grooves, Lin Ling's speed was extremely fast. He constantly weaved through the rocks like a bolt of blue lightning. He also knew that many people wanted to harm him. However, he wasn't afraid of them. Chapter 28:55. Mysterious light grass. I have no enmity with the disciples of these sections. Because they want to curry favor with Realgar, they all want to teach me a lesson. Realgar's background is definitely not small. Otherwise, the sects of the Crimson Province would not give him face. In the Great Azure Divine Dynasty, there are not many people who have such face. As Lin Ling advanced, he kept guessing. However, he discovered that this place was very big. There were layers upon layers of grey rocks everywhere, like a maze. It was clearly difficult to find Realgar. What is this? Why does it have universal power? After advancing for a long time, suddenly, a flash appeared in front of him. It was like a star. Moreover, a mysterious power also pervaded the air. This caused Lin Ling to quickly rush forward. Only then did he discover that it was a blue spirit grass as thick as an arm. It only had 2 leaves, but its petals were extremely beautiful, like a star. Mysterious light grass. Lin Ling was overjoyed. With Li Xiaoyao's knowledge, he naturally knew of this precious spirit grass. That was a treasure that was useful even for martial immortals. According to legends, there was a grandmaster who had eaten countless profound light grasses. Relying on his most ordinary talent, he was able to create a huge wave in the 9 provinces. Only later did people find out that his ultimate martial path had reached an unprecedented height, and his power was extremely powerful. This was the benefit of the mysterious light grass. It could increase the universal power. One must know that the universal power was even more mysterious than the power of primal chaos. It was also the next stage of the ultimate martial path's power of heaven and earth. In my previous life, I had always been looking for the birthplace of the mysterious light grass. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it even after traveling through the 9 provinces. Yes. Lin Ling suddenly nodded and wanted to pick it. However, at that moment, 3 figures shot over like lightning from afar. Elite disciples of the 100 sect gathering. Seeing that, Lin Ling's gaze instantly flickered. He even somewhat recognized one of them. If he didn't remember incorrectly, that person had cursed him several times in order to curry favor with Realgar. Crimson Province, this is my first time here. Although I didn't think of provoking them, if they want to harm me, then I won't be lenient. Lin Ling simply stopped harvesting and quietly waited for the 3 people to arrive. Moreover, his purpose of coming here was not to find any treasure, but to find Realgar. Therefore, he wanted to know the whereabouts of Realgar through these people. Bang bang bang. The grey rock exploded. Then, 3 figures smashed down like shooting stars. They had their hands behind their backs, their expressions calm. These 3 were all at the peak of the true deity realm. In Green Province, they were exceptional talents. The first stalk of mysterious light grass has been found. Our Great Cloud sect has taken another step towards the championship. One of them threw his head back and roared with laughter. There was an indescribable pride in his voice as he stared at the profound light grass with excitement. The 2 people beside her were obviously junior brothers. At this moment, they were also laughing loudly, as if they were already the champions of the 100 sect tournament and had shown off in front of their master and junior sister. Of course, while they were laughing, they also noticed that there was another person standing beside the mysterious light grass. That person was like a stone statue. His face was expressionless, and when he saw their complacent expressions, his eyes were filled with disdain. There's someone here. Everyone, be careful. Who are you? No, you seem to be Lin something from the Great Azure God dynasty. At this moment, the 3 of them were shocked. Then, they recognized Lin Ling. After all, not long ago, Lin Ling had a grudge with brother Realgar, and this was something that was obvious to all. Senior brother, it's that guy. Our luck is too good. We got the mysterious light grass and even found Lin Ling. After being stunned for a moment, the 3 of them laughed even more crazily, as if Lin Ling was more precious than the mysterious light grass. I'm Shui Xiaoyao. You're called Lin something, right? Kneel down obediently. After the senior brother was overjoyed, he looked at Lin Ling indifferently and said. Lin Ling was only at the 8th stage of the true God realm. Although he was a monstrous genius of the Great Azure God dynasty, his cultivation realm was nothing in their eyes. Kneel down, you piece of trash. Are you blind? Why don't you take a look at yourself? You actually want to settle accounts with brother Realgar. Are you looking for death? The other 2 junior brothers said sternly. When they were in the sect, they could only flatter their elders and senior brothers. Now that they saw someone weaker than them, they naturally put on airs as senior brothers. However, they didn't know that it wasn't because they were lucky that they met Lin Ling, but because Lin Ling had been waiting for them. Shui Xiaoyao. What an ironic name. I'm Li Xiaoyao, and you're called Shui Xiaoyao. Your parents didn't give you a good name. However, I'm not interested in what your name is. However, you and I have no grudge. Do you really want to attack me? With that little bit of cultivation of yours? Lin Ling said indifferently. You're not satisfied with my name. The senior brother named Shui Xiaoyao was a little unhappy. Outside his body, rolling waves surged out like the water of the Milky Way. His talent wasn't low, and he had a third-grade divine body. Most importantly, he obviously wasn't the strongest genius of any sect, but he had a third-grade divine body. This showed how powerful the geniuses of the Crimson Province were. Great wave eliminates sand. Swoosh! Swoosh! Shui Xiaoyao didn't move at all. He only shouted in a low voice, and in an instant, countless water droplets shot toward Lin Ling. Although the water droplets looked small, their attack power was extremely terrifying. Perhaps no one below the peak of the true God realm could stop them. Senior brother's great wave eliminate sand has reached 120% chaotic energy. Amazing! The two junior brothers immediately flattered Lin Ling, as if they wanted to tell him that this was the way of the Crimson Province. Sword, come! Seeing this, Lin Ling still stood there like a pine tree. With a thought, swords shot out from behind him like locusts. What kind of martial arts is this? It seems to be the famous Ashura sword formation of the Green Province. This guy is quite capable. The two junior brothers were shocked, but soon shook their heads in disdain. They didn't think that Lin Ling, who was only at the stage 8 true God realm, could be very powerful. Rumble. However, in front of them, the sea of swords began to merge and turned into a huge ancient sword. This strange scene was an eye-opener for them. Frogs at the bottom of a well, haven't you seen a real martial arts before? Lin Ling seemed to know that the two of them were shocked, so he mocked them. Then, his eyebrows moved slightly, and the huge ancient sword fell into his hand. Then, he slashed with the sword. Bang! 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 All the water droplets burst apart with a single slash of his sword. It was extremely easy. Seeing this, Shui Xiaoyao was slightly surprised and said lightly, "It seems that I've underestimated you. You do have some skills, but that's all. Although the huge sword is powerful, it can't cut the opponent. What's the use of it?" Gurgle. As his voice fell, something miraculous happened. Bubbles began to appear in the void one after another. Then, they exploded and actually drowned the nearby area. Chapter 2856. Not qualified to be carefree. Xiu xiu xiu. Among them, a white ribbon-like ray of light quickly pierced through. It was hard to see with the naked eye. It's here. Senior brother's ultimate technique, white stripe in the waves. Beautiful, truly beautiful. Seeing this, the two junior brothers cheered and shouted at Lin Ling, "This is 6 realms speed." 6 realms, do you know what 6 realms are? You can only use 5 realms speed. One had to know that there weren't many geniuses who could use 6 realms speed in Qing province. This showed how powerful 6 realms speed was. Huh, Lin something, do you know fear now? Isn't your sword very impressive? Why aren't you using your sword? Can't you find me? Shui Xiaoyao's voice also floated out from the surging waves. It was arrogant and unruly. Seeing this, Lin Ling didn't move. He looked around indifferently. He found that the Crimson Province geniuses were also quite powerful. Although they didn't have the first seal of the true God martial soul, they were able to display their talent to the limit. Seeing that Lin Ling did not move, Shui Xiaoyao thought that Lin Ling was helpless. You're really weak. I still wanted to have some fun. In the end, you disappoint me. Lin Ling, it's time to end this. Take a good look at this beautiful world because you don't have a chance anymore. Rumble. Along with his voice, the huge waves at the bottom of the water rolled and formed a huge water wave handprint in the water. It bloomed with bright light and slapped towards Lin Ling. The power of this palm was enough to destroy 10 realms in the north. In fact, his divine body's talent was also very strange. If he used it in the north, the various realms would be submerged by his talent and drown in the water. Senior brother Shui Xiaoyao, well done. The two junior brothers were very excited. It was as if their senior brother was fighting for Crimson Province and suppressing Qin Province. You have some skill, but as you said, it's time to end this. Also, my name is Lin Ling, not Lin something. At this time, Lin Ling finally spoke. Flames began to appear on the surface of his body. The evil flame transformation activated and poured into the giant sword. Boom! This sword, with a spirit that reached the rainbow, collided with his water ripple handprint. You're courting death. Shui Xiaoyao shouted in disdain. Lin Ling dared to fight him head-on, and in his domain. If this wasn't courting death, then what was? Boom! However, as soon as he finished speaking, his huge water palm was destroyed by the sword. Moreover, the entire water world was split into two by the sword. In the shattered water world, Lin Ling walked towards Shui Xiaoyao with his sword in hand. What? I'm at the peak of the true God realm, and he's only at the 8th stage of the true God realm. Why has his realm essence reached the peak of the true God realm? No, it's beyond the true God realm. Although that sword did not kill Shui Xiaoyao, the surging realm energy still caused Shui Xiaoyao to spit out a mouthful of blood. His expression changed greatly. Then, like a white stripe in the waves, he fled into the distance. His heart continued to rumble. Was this the most monstrous genius of Qingzhou? It seemed that to be valued by Qingzhou, one's strength was not as weak as they had imagined. The elite geniuses of the 100 Sect Conference have underestimated him. This won't do. I must inform the various sect masters and ask them to kill Lin Ling. We can't let this monstrous genius of Qingzhou return to Qingzhou. While he was escaping, Shui Xiaoyao kept thinking and his expression was extremely gloomy. In fact, he had even abandoned his two junior brothers. Lin something, we'll meet again. Until his voice drifted over from afar, his two junior brothers finally reacted and their expressions were as frightened as eggplants. Their senior brother ran away. Then, he left them behind to face Lin Ling. How were they going to face him? Trying to escape. However, would Lin Ling allow Shui Xiaoyao to escape? I've said it before. I'm Lin Ling, not Lin something. Sizzle. Amidst the splashing water, a faintly discernible voice could be heard. What was terrifying was that before the voice could be heard, a figure appeared in front of Shui Xiaoyao and a sword was pointed coldly at him. That speed was obviously the 7 realms speed. At this moment, Shui Xiaoyao's expression froze and was filled with fear. One must know that he was running away at the 6 realms speed and thought that Lin Ling would definitely not be able to catch up to him. That was why he dared to be so arrogant. However, Lin Ling told him that the 6 realms speed was too slow. Thump. Staring at the cold sword, Shui Xiaoyao swallowed his saliva with difficulty. At this moment, his body was trembling as he spoke nervously. How can you be so strong? Li. I've been practicing martial arts all my life. Why should I explain anything to you? Li. Lin Ling's expression was calm, but his eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. With a gentle wave of his right hand, the huge ancient sword slashed down, causing the void to be cut open. It was surging and magnificent. No. Li. Looking at the huge sword slashing down, Shui Xiaoyao let out a frightened cry. He wanted to resist, but unfortunately, his heart betrayed him and he knew that any resistance was useless. In your next life, don't be called Xiaoyao. Li. Before he died, this was the only sentence left in his heart. Shui Xiaoyao had met Li Xiaoyao. He was not qualified to be Xiaoyao. Dead, Senior Shui died just like that. This Lin Ling is too strong. In the distance, the two junior brothers had been looking at Shui Xiaoyao. When they saw that he was killed by a sword, they were so scared that their faces turned pale. Almost at the same time, a sword appeared in front of them. Lin Ling's figure appeared like a ghost. However, the moment he appeared, the two junior brothers were so scared that they knelt down and kept kowtowing. Spare our lives, spare our lives. Let me ask you, have you seen Realgar? I haven't seen it, but I heard that someone saw it in the east. Thank you. Lin Ling nodded slightly and slashed down with his sword. The two junior brothers were stunned. Lin Ling wanted to kill them. Lin something, how dare you? One of them roared. He never thought that the 100 Sect Conference would be the anniversary of his death. Unfortunately, Lin Ling never showed mercy to his enemies. After ending their lives with a single slash, Lin Ling immediately left after collecting the mysterious light grass. Of course, when he left, he did not forget to take away the treasures left behind by those people. Unfortunately, to his disappointment, these people's treasures were mostly trash. There was not even a single mysterious light grass. Thinking about it, the mysterious light grass that Lin Ling collected previously was their first harvest. Unfortunately, they still did not collect it. My name is Lin Ling, not Lin something. After Lin Ling disappeared, a sarcastic voice sounded in the empty space from before. At this moment, Lin Ling was rushing towards the east. He even ignored the mysterious light grass that he encountered along the way. Compared to treasures, Realgar was obviously more important. However, the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons were very big. Lin Ling headed in one direction, but he would sometimes get lost. That person is not Lin something. Along the way, he naturally met the elite disciples of various sects. Catch him. Those elite disciples naturally would not let Lin Ling go. Chapter 2857. Attack. What surprised Lin Ling was that Xiong Huang was rather important in the various sections. There were actually people from the 3 sects protecting him. This meant that if he wanted to get close to Xiong Huang, he would have to fight to the death. Till death do us part. Lin Ling's eyes were filled with determination. He did not stop and instead, he was getting closer and closer to Xiong Huang. That was indeed the case. A large number of people had gathered around Xiong Huang. Not only were there elite geniuses, but there were also elders from the sections. They were indomitable existences. Under a towering basalt rock that was like a lighthouse, a large number of figures had gathered around a bonfire and were chatting wittily. Brother Xiong Huang, this is our 100 Sect Conference. After you leave, we'll give you some mysterious light grass as a token of our hospitality, someone said with a smile. Xiong Huang's main purpose in participating in the 100 Sect Conference was to broaden his horizons. As the host, they would naturally receive him warmly. Thank you, brothers. Xiong Huang smiled and spoke politely because he knew that there would definitely be a top expert from Crimson Province among this group of people. Therefore, he would not miss such a favor. You're welcome. Everyone smiled and waved their hands. Someone was curious about Qing Province and could not help but ask, Brother Xiong Huang, what's so special about Qing Province? Also, what about the geniuses of Qing Province? For example, the famous 9 heavens of Qing Province. What techniques are they good at? Is it talent, ultimate martial arts, or something else? Hearing that, the others were also curious. Some even asked about the emperor's mandate. However, This matter was of great importance and was secretly stopped by the others. Let's talk about it one by one. There's no hurry. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Xiong Huang replied politely and was just about to mention the 9 heavens of Qing province. Bang! At that moment, a rumbling sound came from afar. Everyone could even see that a huge basalt rock mountain in the distance was collapsing. What happened? Seeing this, everyone stood up with their brows tightly furrowed. However, the rumbling sound continued and even the ground shook as if there was an intense battle in the distance. Bang! Bang bang bang! Not long after, several figures shot out from the rock forest. These people were all seriously injured, and their bodies were burning with flames. They looked at the people present. One of them wanted to say something, but he had already fallen down in pain. The others also opened their mouths, but in the end, they were burned alive. Could it be that a terrifying spirit beast had appeared in the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons? Moreover, everyone shuddered as they looked at the person who had died miserably. Some of the more cowardly ones even wanted to run away and leave this place. Not good. However, the silence did not last long. Another young man rushed out in a panic. His clothes were tattered, and his face was covered in blood. It's the disciples of the Light Revolutionary sect. Don't worry, tell me what happened. One of the old men wanted to step forward. He had an ominous premonition. It's a mysterious person. The young man shouted anxiously. He wanted to say something, but a dazzling ray of sword light slashed over from afar, causing his head to fall to the ground. In the end, he didn't say anything and was directly killed. It's not a spirit beast attack, it's a person. This time, everyone was even more frightened. Bang! Almost at the same time, the sound of footsteps came from the messy pile of rocks in front of them. Then, with a rumbling sound, the black tortoise rock that was blocking the path was cut off. A mysterious person wearing a black cloak, holding a huge ancient sword, appeared in front of everyone's eyes. This person was covered in colorful flames, as if he was an ancient flame god. He was extremely terrifying. However, what surprised everyone was that this mysterious person seemed to be only at the 8th stage of the true god realm. This kind of person actually killed his way in from the periphery and reached them. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they would have thought that they were dreaming. This person can't be underestimated. In addition, he's like a killing god. I'm afraid that his strength can't be underestimated. Everyone, be careful. An elder said solemnly as he stared at the mysterious person. For the first time, he was afraid of a junior at the true god realm. This was because he knew that an ordinary true god realm expert could never kill those people. Your Excellency, which sect are you from? The elder asked indifferently. However, the mysterious person was like a statue. He didn't seem to know how to speak. Instead, the sword in his hand slashed down fiercely in a domineering manner. The power of that slash had exceeded the range of the true god realm. The elder didn't expect that the mysterious person would attack so suddenly. He couldn't react in time and was slashed through the middle of his head. His entire body was cut into 2 halves. The elder's strength was at the martial celestial realm. Martial celestial realm, Mount Tai and the Big Dipper, as long as the sun and the moon. However, he still couldn't block that slash. That slash was so terrifying. That's the elder of the Haotian Grand Emperor sect. You killed him. The people present opened their mouths wide and let out all kinds of sharp screams. This mysterious person was too terrifying. He killed without saying a word and didn't even let the elder off. Rumble. However, what answered them was a huge sword. The cloaked man was like a puppet that had received a death order. His purpose was to kill them. Under that slash, a large number of people were killed. Could it be a puppet? While many people were panicking, they were also constantly guessing what had happened. However, what greeted them was another slash, an invincible slash. This time, the people became more and more panicked and they were completely afraid. However, the cloaked man still didn't say a word. He just continued to kill those people. Because, he was Lin Ling. The reason why he was like a puppet and killed the enemies as if he had received a death order was because he knew his purpose. He wanted to know who the murderer was. Therefore, when he came here, he exploded with all his strength. He merged his 3 dantians and activated the evil flame change to the extreme. He killed his opponents like a whirlwind. This was also because if his opponent knew his background, then even if he could kill his opponent, he would have to spend more effort to do so. Moreover, although he killed mercilessly, if he came with his real identity, others would kill him even if he didn't do anything. Therefore, there was nothing wrong with striking first to gain the upper hand. Bastard! Seeing their disciples being slaughtered one after another, 2 of the elders were enraged. Because they wanted to know what was going on, the cloaked man attacked first. If they knew that the cloaked man came with the intention to kill, they wouldn't have asked and killed him directly. Soul-sealing universal palm. An elder strangely appeared above the cloaked man's head. His palm was like an eagle's and the power of the universe surged as it grabbed down. It was a true God martial spirit. Let's see if you're a puppet or a human. The elder used a 6th level boundary martial skill, an ultimate martial skill, which was extremely powerful. Chapter 28:58. Flame Coffin, Burning Heaven and Earth. Power of the Universe. At this moment, Lin Ling also felt the pressure above his head. He clenched his teeth and looked at the realgar through the cloak. His gaze became even more resolute. In his mind, Lord Pu, Lord Shui Wu, his old friends, their faces floated in Lin Ling's mind. A debt of blood must be paid with blood. If he didn't even know who the murderer was, Lin Ling wouldn't have the face to return to his hometown. Great rhinoceros soaring heavenly country. Another elder moved his hands and a terrifying ancient beast appeared on his forehead. It had sharp fangs, it looked like a rhinoceros and a wild boar at the same time. That was his true God spirit, and the most terrifying thing about it was that it had a rare innate ability to transform into a beast. When the beast appeared, it turned into a true form and said, "Even if you're a puppet, I'll still kill you." The beast's horn shone coldly as it charged toward Lin Ling. At this moment, Lin Ling was facing 2 martial immortal realm experts at the same time. Seeing this, everyone sneered. They wanted to kill the cloaked man who was courting death. Now, they could see whether the cloaked man was a human or a puppet. At this moment, Lin Ling only had 2 choices. 1. Retreat. 2. Fight. Of course, since Lin Ling dared to come here, he had already thrown caution to the wind and chose to fight. Bang! The huge ancient sword was smashed to the ground by Lin Ling. He stretched out his hand and roaring flames began to gather. Moreover, it turned into the shape of a coffin. He was preparing the flame coffin. However, above his head, the huge claw grabbed Lin Ling's head. "I want to see whether you're a puppet or a human." A cold voice sounded at the same time. However, in the next moment, the elder exclaimed, "It's a human." What a powerful soul power. His martial arts were related to soul power. He could search souls. When his palm landed on a world, he could know all the memories and thoughts of all the people in that world. However, he found that the cloaked man's soul power was beyond imagination. He couldn't search his soul at all. Bang! At the same time, the terrifying rhinoceros crashed into the cloaked man's body, pushing him forward. The ground continued to crack, and everywhere it passed, rocks the size of small mountains were directly shattered. How terrifying! This collision can easily destroy the 10 realms. That fella is only made of flesh and blood, how could he block it? Looking at the rhinoceros behemoth that was like a siege chariot, everyone was shocked. Moreover, the rhinoceros beast had already knocked the cloaked man further and further away, disappearing into the distance. Serves him right. I'm afraid that fellow's corpse is already gone. Then, voices of schadenfreude could be heard. At this moment, within the endless Xuanwu ancient rock, a figure continued to fly backwards. In front of him was a gigantic beast that was over 100 meters tall. Rumble. Deafening noises kept ringing out. Finally, the giant beast stopped in its tracks. Damn it! That giant beast also spoke human language. He's dead. In the sky, the elder was still holding the cloaked man's head. Two elders were suppressing the cloaked man. If the people from the other sects were here, let alone resisting, they would be terrified just by looking at them. Flaming coffin. However, at this moment, a cold voice rang out. The cloaked man raised his head. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, but his eyes were filled with madness. It was a madness that went all out. Moreover, he smiled. His smile was bloodthirsty. His left hand reached out from the cloak, and then, a small flaming coffin appeared. However, the moment it appeared, the Xuanwu ancient rock began to burn without any fire. Moreover, the flaming coffin began to grow bigger. What? The two elders' eyes trembled violently. Impossible. No matter how strong a martial artist is, his physical body is his weakness. After being attacked by the two of us, his physical body should have been destroyed. Could it be that this is really a tough puppet? He's a human. Previously, I checked that he has a soul and memories. Moreover, the biggest impression that the memories gave me was that a debt of blood must be paid with blood. The two elders spoke out and looked at the cloaked man in fear. They began to retreat. However, it was too late to retreat now. The flaming coffin descended, and the flame god's heart was beating. Lin Ling, at his peak, had activated the first seal of the true god martial soul. Without a doubt, the flaming coffin had reached an unprecedented height. The flaming coffin, burning the heavens and earth. Rumble. The terrifying flames finally erupted. The entire area around the black tortoise ancient rock began to tumble in the air like straw. And this was only formed by the shockwave before the flame coffin exploded. After the explosion, the black tortoise ancient flame instantly turned into a sea of fire. The ancient rocks with endless history began to melt like water. What's happening? What a powerful flame energy. In the distance, the expressions of Xiong Huang and the others changed drastically because there was already a blazing fire in the distance. Moreover, a huge flaming coffin was fluttering in the sky, and this caused them to be worried about the two elders. That's... Xiong Huang stared at the flaming coffin. He suddenly felt that it was very familiar. However, he suddenly could not remember where he had seen it before. The heavens and earth seemed to have quieted down. Pa! Amidst the billowing flames, a cold voice came walking over. A black cloak was dragging a huge ancient sword behind him, as if he was a war god from ancient times. The god of war was invincible and would never admit defeat. Boom! At this moment, everyone's hearts were pounding. He's not dead. Who is this person? He blocked the attacks of two elders consecutively. He's still alive and even killed the elders. Is he still human? What a terrifying physical strength. They saw multicolored flames behind the cloaked man, and they saw a huge mouth, as if it wanted to swallow the heavens and devour the earth, which made them feel extremely terrified. And these were two kinds of fifth-grade talents. Furthermore, the cloaked man's pace was not fast. However, every step he took was earth-shattering. It was as if his soles were the myriad of worlds. He crushed the myriad of worlds. Plop! The weaker disciples were directly shocked by the earth-shattering power and fell to the ground. Your Excellency, is there any misunderstanding between us? Xiong Huang said solemnly and respectfully, they are disciples of the 100 Gates. Do you have a grudge against them? In fact, it's better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. If you have a grudge, I'm willing to be a peacemaker and resolve it. He thought that Lin Ling was here for the elites of the 100 Gates. I'm sorry. They have no grudge against me. You have a grudge against me. In front of them, the cloaked man was still walking forward. However, his left hand landed on the cloak and gently lifted it, revealing a cold face. Lin Ling. Xiong Huang was shocked when he saw this. The elites of the 100 Gates around them were also stunned. Their hearts were pounding. Was this still the Qingzhou genius Lin Ling that they looked down on? They thought that the Qingzhou was weaker than the Crimson Prefecture. They thought that Lin Ling was a stage 8 true god and that his strength was limited. But now, they knew that they were wrong. A stage 8 true god defeated 2 martial immortals and returned victorious. Chapter 28-59. The Sect Master of the Great Jade Pure Hall. Plop. At that moment, even more elite geniuses fell to the ground in fright. Some of them even smiled bitterly. Were they still elite geniuses in front of Lin Ling? They should just obediently remove the word genius. It's you. Xiong Huang did not expect Lin Ling to be so strong. Although he knew that Lin Ling was famous in Qingzhou and was not weak, he believed that Lin Ling was still inferior to him. After all, he had grown up in 5 Ring City. However, he did not dare to look directly at Lin Ling now. Looking at the elite geniuses from the 100 Gates around him, he shook his head. He did not think that these people could protect him. Lin Ling had hidden his strength very well. When the elite geniuses from the 100 Gates provoked him at the beginning, Lin Ling remained silent and did not resist. This made them think that he was only a so-so. However, after Lin Ling attacked, he immediately knew that he had been tricked. If he had known earlier, he would have left the sect master beside Xiong Huang instead of an elder. Swoosh! Without saying anything, Xiong Huang fled in the other direction. Stop him! At the same time, he roared. Hearing that, everyone stood there in shock. Not long ago, at the 100 Gates conference, Xiong Huang had said that if he saw Lin Ling, he would give him some pointers and let Lin Ling know that there was always someone better than him. However, now that Xiong Huang had seen Lin Ling again, he could only flee. Lin Ling, this is Crimson Prefecture. Under Realger's loud roar, someone finally walked out. So what if it's Crimson Prefecture? How dare a bunch of trash like you stop me? Seeing that Xiong Huang was fleeing, how could Lin Ling let him do as he wished? He pounced forward like a god of war. Get lost! He brandished his large sword and the elite geniuses who were blocking his way were killed with one slash. It was an all-encompassing attack. No one could stop him. The word trash echoed in the ears of the elite geniuses from the 100 Gates. It made them smile bitterly as they realized that they were indeed trash. Even with so many people, they couldn't stop Lin Ling alone. If they weren't trash, then what were they? So what if you're from the Crimson State? In my eyes, you're just a bunch of weaklings. Lin Ling's greatsword was extremely tyrannical. As he brandished it, even the disciples couldn't stop him. They could only watch as Lin Ling arrogantly killed the Realger. As for them, they couldn't do anything. Not long ago, they had boasted that they would protect Realger. But now, they couldn't even protect themselves. If Lin Ling's target wasn't Realger, they would have knelt down and begged Lin Ling for mercy. This bastard. At this moment, Lin Ling was chasing after Realger. That fellow was really despicable and shameless. Previously, they had agreed that if he, Lin Ling, found Realger, then Realger would tell him everything. But now, that fellow only knew how to run away. But soon, Lin Ling realized that Realger had stopped in his tracks. It seemed that he was going to give up. When Lin Ling arrived, he realized that Realgar was standing quietly under two gigantic mountains. Beside him was a tall and sturdy old man. "Lin Ling, do you want to know who the murderer is? You won't have the chance in this lifetime." Realgar seemed to have gained a lot of confidence as he sneered. "Stray dog, you have nowhere to run." Sigh. Glancing at Realgar indifferently, Lin Ling said disdainfully. His words of indifference caused Realgar's face to turn gloomy. He didn't expect that he, a god empress, would end up like this. He was chased down 9 streets and didn't even dare to face Lin Ling one-on-one. "Sir, you must protect Realgar." Sigh. Lin Ling ignored Realgar and looked at the old man. "You are Lin Ling." Sigh. The old man stood there quietly like a tall mountain. His face was very strange. The left side of his face was white while the right side was black. Coupled with his dignified appearance, it gave people the feeling that they didn't dare to look at him directly. "That's the sect master of the Great Jade Pure Hall." Sigh. At this moment, the elite geniuses of the 100 Sects Conference all rushed over with grave expressions. The Great Jade Pure Hall was extremely famous 30,000 years ago. It had once given birth to an expert whose name shook the Crimson region. Relying on the black and white energy, he defeated many experts. Later on, because he provoked some experts from the 9 provinces, he was finally defeated by a mysterious person. That expert then disappeared without a trace. No one knew if he was dead or not. Since then, the Great Jade Pure Hall had fallen from a 6th-grade Orthodox martial arts sect to a 4th-grade sect. But it was undeniable that although the Great Jade Pure Hall had declined, its foundation was very deep. "Senior, kill him. I will recommend you to the Empress Dowager." Realgar looked at the old man and said. "You are really a piece of trash. As a genius of the Azure provinces, you could only rely on the help of others when you met him. But he killed you 9 times over. Do you think you are qualified to mock others?" The old man reprimanded, causing Realgar's eyes to narrow. Was the other party mocking him? From this, it could be seen that the sect master's temper wasn't very smooth. No wonder the Great Jade Pure Hall was declining. "However, I will protect your life," the old man said again and looked at Lin Ling. "Azure Province's Lin Ling, the most monstrous genius in the history of the Resplendent Academy. Hearing about you is not as good as meeting you in person. You have cultivated for less than 2,000 years, but you have become the king of the first generation. You are indeed powerful." What was surprising was that he was very familiar with Lin Ling. "I will spare your life on account of your difficult cultivation. Now, leave. The Crimson region is not a place you can come to." "Senior, the Crimson region is indeed not my hometown. But if your family, friends, and sect were to be destroyed, what would you do?" "I would fight with my sword." "That's right. That is why I am here. You are really a stubborn junior. For revenge, you came from the Azure provinces to the Crimson region. You are like a fierce dragon crossing the river." The two looked at each other and exchanged a few words. Lin Ling could see that the old man might not be a good person, but he had a magnanimous temperament. However, everyone has their own goals. "I will not let you kill Realgar. If you are really stubborn, you will only end up dead." The old man's expression was cold, but there was a hint of doting in his eyes when he looked at Lin Ling. In the Great Jade Pure Hall, there were countless geniuses, but no one was more powerful than Lin Ling. Therefore, when he saw Lin Ling, he felt a sense of appreciation for his talent. Of course, he also knew that it was impossible for a genius like Lin Ling to join their Great Jade Pure Hall. "We have never fought before. Everything is unknown." Lin Ling also raised his sword. His eyes were extremely firm. "He has a tenacious temperament. He is a good seedling." The old man nodded. He knew that Lin Ling would not give up until all hope was gone. This battle was unavoidable. An oppressive atmosphere quietly pervaded the air. This fellow swept away the elite geniuses of the 100 clans and defeated the sect's elders. Now, he even dares to go against the sect master. Although the great Jade Pure Hall is no longer glorious, it used to be famous in the Crimson region. This Lin Ling is simply courting death. Although he is courting death, it is undeniable that there are no more than 20 elite geniuses who can suppress him in the 100 Clans conference. Chapter 2860. The Sect Leader. Xiong Huang, before I win, you are not allowed to run away. If I lose, your life will be in Lin Ling's hands. The old man's body began to emit a rolling aura, causing the surrounding black tortoise ancient rocks to crack. Then, they began to fall. Okay. Xiong Huang immediately replied. The reason why he agreed so quickly was because he knew that Lin Ling could not win. Because Lin Ling was not qualified to fight against a sect leader. If it was in the Green region, Lin Ling would be fighting against the giants of the Green region. Lin Ling, go to hell. The old man attacked. His aura surged, and he did not hold back at all. Even though he thought highly of Lin Ling, there were some things in the world that one had no choice in. Third level of the martial immortal realm. Seeing the old man attack, Lin Ling's face turned serious. He did not know what cultivation technique the old man cultivated, but there was black and white energy swirling around his body. It was extremely mysterious. The old man's talent was a 5th grade divine body, but his cultivation level was higher than Lin Ling's by a few levels. Moreover, his ultimate martial path must have reached the point of perfection. This was a strong opponent. Fortunately, Lin Ling had already erupted with his full strength. His 3 dantians merged together, and the evil flame change was also activated to the extreme. Therefore, it would not be easy for the old man to kill him. Bang bang bang. Activating the Ashura sword formation again, 10,000 swords shot towards the old man. Clear flow. The old man suddenly let out a low roar, and a fog-like white gas appeared on the surface of his body, causing his figure to become ethereal. The sea of swords shot over, and crackling sounds rang out non-stop, but the old man directly charged through the sea of swords. Your swords, don't even think of touching me. The old man laughed coldly. He stretched out his hand, and his 5 fingers turned into a clear flow of white as he viciously grabbed. Seeing this, Lin Ling's face changed slightly. He activated the 7 realm speed and turned into a ray of light, disappearing from where he was standing. The ground where he was standing before cracked open, and 5 huge ravines appeared. They were so deep that one could not see the end of them. However, just as Lin Ling dodged the killing move, he immediately felt a sense of danger. He did not stop, and his body disappeared from where he was standing again. Just as he disappeared, the old man appeared. His hand grabbed, and white energy rolled like the water of the heavenly river, rumbled. However, this attack was avoided by Lin Ling's speed. Moreover, Lin Ling sensed that this old man's speed of the 10 realm speed. His speed far exceeded Lin Ling's. Lin Ling could not avoid the other party's pursuit at all. All he could do was to continue to break the olds to. As expected of Lin Ling. He is obviously at the 8th stage of true God realm, but his world essence is surging. That is the strength of the martial immortal realm. The old man's attack failed, and he let out a sigh of admiration. This made everyone nod secretly. No wonder Lin Ling could sweep away thousands of troops. He indeed had a mysterious trump card. What a pity. What's the use of it? The old man attacked again. His figure was ethereal, as if he was teleporting between 10,000 realms. A white sword also appeared in his hand. It was formed by the mysterious white energy, and at this moment, it pierced towards Lin Ling. The sword was very fast, exceeding the speed of the 10 realm speed. Generally speaking, when a martial artist used martial arts, most of them would be faster than their movement techniques. And this speed was difficult for Lin Ling to dodge. However, at the crucial moment, his left eye bloomed with a demonic light. At the crucial moment when the sword pierced towards him, at the crucial moment, his body was like a spring, and he quickly leaned back, allowing the cold sword to shoot past his cheek, avoiding that terrifying sword. If he had chosen to retreat, he would have died without a doubt. Because his speed was faster than the sword, he did not choose to retreat. Instead, he avoided that sword on the spot. This was like pulling a tooth from the tiger's mouth. It seemed dangerous, but it was the only way to break the sword. Amazing, you actually saw through this old man's sword. Facing this old man's sword, no true God realm expert can escape or receive it. You are the first person to survive this sword in this old man's hand. The old man maintained his sword posture, and at this moment, he could not help but praise. So amazing! The spectators in the distance also exclaimed. Because they thought that Lin Ling would be killed by this sword, but in the end, Lin Ling avoided it. Moreover, this was in the hands of an expert with a profound martial arts foundation. To avoid that killing intent, it was impossible for them not to admire him. Crossing Life Pearl's sun finger. However, the old man was indeed a master of martial arts. He was also very experienced in battle. After his right sword pierced through the air, he took advantage of the time when Lin Ling's upper body leaned back to form a sword and pierced out with his left finger. In his finger, wisps of white light curled around, looking very sharp. Moreover, those wisps of light became denser and denser. At the crucial moment, Lin Ling's upper body bounced back like a spring. What was surprising was that he did not choose to use martial arts to defend himself, nor did he choose to avoid it. Instead, he used his chest to collide with that sharp finger. Poochie. Then, a dull sound was heard. Lin Ling's chest was pierced through, and blood immediately gushed out. He's dead. He lost in 2 moves. Seeing this, many people clenched their fists. Clashing with the sect leader, a genius of the younger generation was indeed too weak. Sword, come, sweep away 1,000 troops. However, at this moment, Lin Ling coldly spat out a sentence. A huge ancient sword had appeared in his right hand at some point in time, and then he swept it out. When he had just dodged the old man's sword, Lin Ling had already begun to summon the tyrannical song sword. Therefore, at this moment, he naturally counterattacked. The old man's expression changed slightly, and he disappeared on the spot at the speed of 10 worlds. However, he was still a little too slow. A strand of white beard floated down from the sky. A strand of his beard had been cut off. Didn't you say that my sword can't touch you? At the same time, Lin Ling's cold voice also sounded. All of this seemed slow, but in reality, it all happened in the blink of an eye. When people came to their senses, they looked at the white beard on the ground and were all shocked. One had to know that the old man was a famous figure in Crimson Province for thousands of years. He had taught countless geniuses, but now, a junior had cut off the old man's beard. What's going on? Senior Gao must have been careless. That must be it. I clearly saw that Lin Ling was hit, so he must have resisted with all his might before he died. Senior Gao must have thought that Lin Ling was definitely going to die, so he was careless. The geniuses and elites of Crimson Province analyzed. A bunch of frogs at the bottom of a well, shut up. However, at this moment, the old man shouted angrily, causing everyone to open their mouths wide. The old man seemed to be scolding them. My previous finger attack was condensed with my white sun water flow, which can kill a second-level martial immortal expert. The only flaw of this finger attack is that it needs to be charged up. The longer it is charged up, the stronger it becomes. Lin Ling discovered the characteristics of my martial arts, so he took the initiative to move forward and blocked the sword with his chest before the finger attack was completed, neutralizing my finger attack. Chapter 2861. Little Kunlun Attack. No way, Lin Ling's eyes are so sharp. He's too lucky. Lucky. Hearing that, everyone exclaimed. They could also sense that the old man's words were full of praise. This made them somewhat jealous because as geniuses, they couldn't even enter the eyes of the sect leader. Lucky? Do you have a pair of dog eyes? If life and death were close, would you choose to retreat, resist, or take the initiative? The old man coldly shouted again. Everyone instantly fell silent. If they were faced with that finger, they would definitely resist with all their might. At the very least, they would look for an opportunity to dodge. As for taking the initiative, they didn't even think about it because that would be a suicidal move. You're a disgrace to the Crimson Province. Seeing that everyone was silent, the old man reprimanded again, causing everyone to grit their teeth, feeling very humiliated. The old man also looked at Lin Ling. You're really amazing. Not only do you have reaction time, even your experience and knowledge surpass your peers. If you weren't so young, I would even think that you're an old monster who has cultivated for millions of years. Even though my finger pierced through your chest, it was only a superficial wound, right? The old man's voice was solemn. After all, Lin Ling had broken through the moves of a third-level martial immortal realm martial master. He couldn't help but be shocked. That's right. At this moment, Lin Ling also nodded. The sect leader of the Great Jade Pure Hall was indeed very powerful. He, Lin Ling, had also used all his strength to block it. You're indeed a rare martial arts genius. Unfortunately, my Great Jade Pure Hall is not fortunate enough to recruit you. I'm actually envious of the Green Province. The old man sighed softly and swept his gaze over the disciples of the various sects, his eyes filled with disdain. These geniuses wanted to compete with Lin Ling. They were simply a bunch of toads. Everyone also noticed the old man's gaze. They were all furious, but there was nothing they could do. Again. The old man attacked again. His sword was like a clear stream, like a high mountain in flowing water. Ultimate martial path, the pinnacle of the Tao domain. Looking at this simple and unadorned sword strike, Lin Ling secretly cried out in alarm. When the other party attacked, the power of the universe was extremely terrifying. He simply couldn't meet force with force. He could only constantly search for the flaws in the other party's moves and break them. Lin Ling gathered all of his world essence and stared at the sword with his 10,000 elephant devil eyes. He also made his move. Amazing. 10 points of strength, 8 points of strength, and 2 points of strength reserved. After the first attack failed, it was a perfect retreat. After exchanging a few more blows, the old man exclaimed in admiration. The clash between the two of them was a clash of martial arts. It seemed simple, but when applied to Lin Ling, everything was so smooth and perfect. Others might be able to do this, but they only had the form and not the soul. Lin Ling is so powerful. Xiong Huang stared fixedly at the battle between the two. He knew that the sect leader would not go easy on Lin Ling, which was why he knew how terrifying Lin Ling was. To be praised by a senior from the Crimson Province, this was the first time in the Green Province. Unfortunately, this honor did not belong to him. Flame Coffin. After a few clashes, Lin Ling also realized that his world essence was greatly depleted, so he used a killer move. Dark Spirit Saint Force. Seeing this, the old man's expression turned serious. He sensed that the huge flame coffin could kill a first-level martial immortal. Therefore, he also erupted with his strength. Black air currents appeared, as if they could destroy everything, and surged. The old man's face turned black and white, and his aura became even more domineering. His hands were mixed with black and white energy, and he madly grabbed out. Rumble. When the flame coffin exploded, he actually tore the flame coffin apart. However, he clearly did not gain any advantage. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was slightly injured. This old man. Seeing this, Lin Ling's eyes flickered. It was the first time he saw someone so domineering, holding the flame coffin. This also meant that even though Lin Ling was strong in all major areas, he still could not defeat an expert whose realm was much higher than his. Injured, the sect leader is injured. Of course, compared to Lin Ling's helplessness, the people were so shocked that they could not close their mouths. One was the sect leader of an ancient sect, a martial immortal, and the other was a genius from the Green Province. However, the rising star injured the senior. How could this not shock the people? At least, if it were them, they would be defeated in one move. The first seal of the true God martial spirit, powerful, powerful. Your physical body is very strong, with the power of 500,000 universes, comparable to the power of 50 worlds. No wonder your endurance and explosive power are so strong. Also, you have 2 talents. Your physical body's defense is very strong, and it can absorb a large amount of the opponent's attacks, reducing the side effects. Your fire talent is focused on offense, very domineering. Most importantly, you have soul power, and you seem to be able to detect the flaws in my every move. Of course, no matter how powerful your martial arts experience is, it is all based on your realm. However, your realm essence is very strong, and this is the reason why you have not been defeated until now. The old man spat out another mouthful of blood, and said word by word. His heart was also rumbling. It was the first time he had seen such a terrifying little monster. If Lin Ling was also a martial immortal, or even a stage 1 martial immortal, he knew that he would not be a match for Lin Ling. When fighting with an enemy, if you show mercy, it is an insult to you. Now, it is my turn to attack. My black and white forces are the peak of the ultimate martial Dao domain, half a step into the peak of the ultimate martial Dao, the complete Dao. You have to be careful. The old man attacked again. It was obvious that he respected Lin Ling a lot, so he attacked with his full strength. That was because Lin Ling was the most demon-level true God junior he had ever met in his life. He even felt that it was his good fortune to be able to fight against Lin Ling. The black and white forces, the white forces are like water, increasing your speed and defense. The black forces are like torrential rivers, incomparably ferocious. One yin and one yang, one hard and one soft. Your ultimate martial Dao can defeat many geniuses with great talent. Lin Ling also shouted coldly. On the path of the martial Dao, talent did not represent everything. Powerful martial artists could also kill those with outstanding talent. What they relied on was their profound martial arts experience. My evaluation of you has increased again. You are the first junior to know the characteristics of my ultimate martial Dao. What's the use of a pity? You will still die. The old man's voice was very cold. At that moment, Lin Ling's eyes were flickering. He was already planning to activate the spacetime divine steel. However, at that moment, the vine wrapped around his left arm seemed to have awakened. It grew rapidly, and viciously lashed out at the old man. The whip contained the profound universal Tao. Although it seemed simple, it contained the sun, moon, and stars, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Pa! Chapter 2862. Circling. This. The old man was shocked. The crowd was also dumbfounded because they realized that the black and white soul seemed to be a true God martial soul. Could it be that the vine had extracted the old man's true God martial soul? Even Lin Ling was shocked because the vine was Mini Kunlun. However, Lin Ling was no fool. He gripped the tyrannical song in his hand tightly and slashed out 12 times. Boom! 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 The old man anxiously clashed with the huge ancient sword and was smashed into the ground, causing the ground to crack continuously. The sudden change caused the surroundings to become deathly silent because no one expected that the sect leader would be suppressed again when he fought Lin Ling. Boom! However, not long after, the old man rushed out again. His face was ferocious and cold. What is that? With Lin Ling's cultivation level, although those swords were powerful, they obviously couldn't hurt him. However, after the vine whipped him, he realized that his strength had decreased by 30%, or even 40%. That was why Lin Ling's sword could injure him. The reason was that the vine had extracted his innate talent. If a cultivator didn't have talent, their battle prowess would definitely be greatly reduced. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that the old man was skilled in martial arts and didn't have talent, those swords would have taken his life. Ho ho, it's a part of my strength. Hearing that, Lin Ling calmly replied. This thing is too terrifying. It can extract a person's talent. The old man frowned as if he couldn't believe it. He attacked Lin Ling again. Pa! However, when it got close to Lin Ling, the vine whipped out again. This time, it had extracted the old man's talent again, causing his strength to decrease greatly in a short period of time. Azura Sword Formation. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Ling activated the sword formation, forming a spirit formation that surged toward the old man. Rumble. This time, the old man suffered a great loss again. He was continuously slashed by the tens of thousands of swords. You. Moreover, he started to roar. He was too aggrieved in this battle. Firmament change. Lin Ling ignored him. He pushed the evil flame transformation to its limits. With the flaming coffin in his left hand and the ancient sword in his right, he launched his strongest attack. Around him, the small Kunlun grew larger and larger. It took root in the ground, and its vines shot into the sky. It launched a powerful attack at the old man. With every whip, the old man's innate talent was unleashed. Although he did not receive any fatal injuries, it did affect his battle prowess. By the time he reacted, Lin Ling's various powerful ultimate techniques had already arrived, making it difficult for him to defend himself. Spacetime Divine Steel. Lin Ling knew that this was his weakest moment, so he used his strongest trump card. Rumble. In the sky, a huge stone tablet came crashing down, as if it was going to break the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. The disciples of the various sects were like cicadas in winter. They never thought that Lin Ling's attacks would be so strong. Like a storm, not only did it injure the old man, it even suppressed him to the point where he vomited blood again and again. And this is the Azure Province's genius Lin Ling that we looked down on. Someone muttered to himself. Suppressing a sect leader, this was something that they did not even dare to think about. Rumble. However, the old man was worthy of being a powerful martial immortal. His tenacious fighting spirit and strength surpassed Lin Ling's imagination. He raised his hands to the sky, and the black and white energies appeared in his palms as if they were omnipotent. They actually lifted up the spacetime divine steel. Seeing this, Lin Ling could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Martial immortal realm, it was indeed very terrifying. His black and white energies are too heaven-defying. Boom! Lin Ling even saw that the old man's innate talent was being continuously extracted. However, the black and white energies were continuously providing spiritual energy, preventing the old man from falling down. Junior, to be able to force me to use 120% of my strength, you are the number 1 person under the martial immortal realm. If I remember correctly, the last time I used my full strength, it was during the 100 sect leader battle. The old man roared, treating Lin Ling as a powerful sect leader. Unfortunately, you are still too inexperienced. Sigh. However, he was clearly not afraid of Lin Ling because Lin Ling's current attack was not fatal. Is that so? Sigh. At this moment, Lin Ling gave up on attacking. He appeared behind the old man with 7 realms speed and sent out a palm strike. This guy. Sigh. Seeing Lin Ling's crazy actions, everyone forgot to breathe. Although the sect leader was suppressed by the spacetime divine steel, it was very dangerous for Lin Ling to approach him. After all, no matter what, the sect leader was an old monster of the 3rd level of the martial immortal realm. He was a huge elephant, and Lin Ling was only an ant. Even the old man was surprised by Lin Ling's actions. Lin Ling's actions were like cards that did not follow common sense. It was very difficult to understand. However, when the palm strike landed behind the old man, he discovered Lin Ling's goal. Lin Ling was actually absorbing the spiritual energy emitted by the black and white energy. One had to know that the black and white energy was very mysterious. It was said that it was a mysterious energy flow that was born when the world was first created. After being observed by experts, they comprehended it. This cultivation technique was called the Heavenly Heaven Divine Reflection Technique, and it was also a cultivation technique that their sect did not pass on. The world essence cultivated by this cultivation technique was very powerful. The black and white energy greatly increased one's defense, speed, and attack. It could even emit spiritual energy at critical moments, allowing the cultivator to remain undefeated. However, Lin Ling seemed to know the characteristics of the black and white energy, so he actually came to absorb it. And if he wanted to stop the spacetime divine steel, he could only watch as Lin Ling did whatever he wanted. Bastard! The old man could not help but curse. Senior, you should be careful of the spacetime divine steel. Yes. Lin Ling replied indifferently. He operated the primal chaos divine formula in his dantian and continued to refine the spiritual energy of the black and white energy. This was also because the old man's goal was the spacetime divine steel. Otherwise, he would not dare to be so impudent. And after the old man cursed, he also discovered that Lin Ling's cultivation level seemed to be increasing. This made him even more shocked because no one had ever been able to refine the spiritual energy of others and quickly use it for their own use. Did this mean that Lin Ling was treating him like a deity crystal? Boom! When he thought of this, the sect leader was also enraged. He activated a powerful 7th grade boundary origin martial art, which temporarily increased the power of his attack. He actually managed to blast away the divine steel of time and space. His long hair danced wildly, and he looked like a war god from the primordial era. How troublesome! Lin Ling's expression changed. He immediately retreated, recalled the spacetime divine steel, and immediately fled into the distance. Where do you think you're going, bastard? The sect leader no longer had the appearance of a senior. At this moment it was obvious that his lungs were about to explode from anger. Fighting a junior at the true immortal realm, he had repeatedly been injured and even helped his opponent increase his cultivation level. If news of this spread out, he would not be able to face anyone. Go! Seeing that the old man was chasing after him like a madman, Lin Ling activated the Azura sword formation and then madly fled again. The current him was clearly not suitable for a head-on clash. The two of them clashed in the 9 Dragons' 18 grooves. Chapter 2863. The sect leader admitted defeat. Lin Ling used all his trump cards to contend with the old man. He did not meet force with force, but attacked from the side. During this process, he repeatedly let little Kunlun launch sneak attacks, and then waited on the spacetime divine steel. He took the opportunity to steal the old man's black and white forces again. The old man was unlucky to have met a freak like Lin Ling. The black and white forces that he had painstakingly cultivated all his life were now being taken advantage of by Lin Ling. Don't you fucking run. The old man kept chasing Lin Ling. His beard and hair were messy, and his eyes were red with anger. Previously, he wanted to recruit Lin Ling as a disciple, but now, he did not want to do so at all. If Lin Ling came to their sect, the sect would be in chaos. Because he dared to take advantage of the sect leader. He could not suppress such a disciple. What happened? That's the sect leader of Great Jade Hall. Who is he chasing? That person is really unlucky. That's not necessarily true. Did you see? The sect leader of Great Jade Hall is obviously in a difficult situation, but his opponent is much more relaxed. What? The two of them flew over the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. Many people on the ground saw them, and they all felt as if they were struck by lightning. They never thought that the sect leader of Great Jade Hall would be in such a difficult situation. One had to know that that was the sect leader who taught them martial arts. That's not Lin something from Qingzhou. When they saw the old man's opponent, even the sect leaders of many sects gasped. Obviously, they did not expect that Lin Ling, who came from Qingzhou, would cause such a huge commotion in the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. And this chase lasted for a full 3 days. After fighting for 3 days and 3 nights, Lin Ling still had not lost. Instead, through continuous sneak attacks, his realm essence continued to recover, and he became more and more energetic. Looking at the old man, he was getting weaker and weaker. I've cultivated for 5,000 years. Even though I'm not at the top of the Crimson Prefecture, I'm still famous and highly respected. I'll kill you today, kid. The old man was so angry that he was about to lose his mind. It was no wonder that he was angry. Based on his seniority and strength, he was several times more powerful than Lin Ling. Even when Li Xiaoyao was still alive, he would have to call this old man senior. However, he couldn't swallow such a junior no matter what. But at this moment, Lin Ling finally stopped and floated in the air with a calm expression. Not running anymore. The old man's breathing quickened as he looked at the vine wrapped around Lin Ling's arm with extreme fear. If it weren't for that thing, he would have already defeated Lin Ling. I'm not running anymore because I've broken through. Lin Ling indifferently spat out a sentence. His words caused the old man's expression to freeze. Soon after, he saw a surging aura emanating from Lin Ling's body. Demonic flame change, Azura sword array, flame coffin, heart of the flame god. All of Lin Ling's trump cards were shockingly revealed. And in the sky, the space-time divine steel also smashed down with an ancient aura. This. The old man immediately started to panic. This was because he saw that Lin Ling had reached the 9th level of the true God realm, but the increase in realm essence wasn't as simple as 1 + 1. Most importantly, he knew that Lin Ling had stolen his black and white energy to break through. I admit defeat. In the end, the old man spat out a few words in a sullen manner. When Lin Ling was at the 8th level of the true God realm, it was already difficult for him to defeat him. Now that his cultivation level had increased, how could he fight? What's more, he was completely drained in these 3 days. Rumble. However, just as he finished speaking, the huge space-time divine steel smashed down from the sky and smashed the old man into the ground. You bastard, I've already admitted defeat. The old man was smashed by the space-time divine steel. At this moment, his eyes were red as he shouted. You wanted to kill me and now you admit defeat? On the space-time divine steel, Lin Ling's blue and white robe appeared. He stood quietly on the divine steel and looked at the old man below. The old man was speechless. He knew that when warriors fought, once they revealed their killing intent, their opponents wouldn't be merciful. However, on account of you helping me increase my cultivation level, I'll spare your life. However, Lin Ling's lips quickly curled into a smile. This was the first time he smiled since coming to the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. Although the old man wanted to kill him, he knew that the old man had the ability to kill him in one blow. However, the old man was curious about his strength, so he raised his attack power bit by bit. This gave Lin Ling a chance. Moreover, if it weren't for the old man's black and white energy, Lin Ling wouldn't have been able to break through. It could only be said that although the old man wasn't a good person, he had a straightforward personality and was very much to Lin Ling's liking. The only flaw was that he was a little too serious. "I'll spare your life. From now on, if you see me, Lin Ling, you'll take a detour." Lin Ling's body flickered as he flew off into the distance, causing the old man to fly into a rage out of humiliation. He was a dignified sect leader of a generation, yet a junior actually spared his life in the tone of a reward. Humph. Although he was spared, how could he let go of his pride? "In fact, I still like uncivilized old antiques like you. The more serious you are, the cuter I find you." However, Lin Ling's mocking voice drifted over from afar, causing the old man's eyes to twitch and his face to turn red. "Get lost. Cuter. I'm a dignified sect leader, yet I'm called cuter. If you want to kill Realgar, you'd better hurry up. That guy isn't very capable, but there are many people who want to curry favor with him." However, after the old man stood up, he still looked into the distance and said, "Also, there will be many powerhouses in the 100 Sects Conference, including some geniuses from 6th grade sections. They're not weaker than me, and in Qingzhou, they're the 9 heavens of Qingzhou." The old man seemed to have thought of something and reminded him again. "Thank you." Lin Ling's chuckle came from afar. He waved his hand and disappeared in front of the old man. In order to take revenge, this guy came to Crimson Province alone. He dares to take responsibility for his actions and is magnanimous. I like him very much. Unfortunately, I've only met one such seedling in my life, so it's difficult to recruit him as a disciple. After Lin Ling completely disappeared, a smile finally appeared on the old man's stern face. Since the beginning of the battle, he had been very appreciative of Lin Ling, so he did not immediately kill him because he appreciated talent. However, who knew that because of his appreciation of talent, the young man's strength had broken through instead. He was truly a monstrous existence. However, when he thought of Lin Ling's strength, his smile turned into a bitter smile. Although he wanted to take Lin Ling as a disciple, the disciple was stronger than the master, so how could he recruit him? What an interesting old man. At that moment, Lin Ling was flying towards the depths of the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. The battle with the sect leader had wasted a lot of his time, but Lin Ling had also gained great benefits. His realm had greatly improved, and he was more familiar with the various powers in his body. In fact, he was still very grateful to that senior. Chapter 2864. I'm saying that everyone here is just an ant. With my current ability, I'm afraid that even if Wu Sheng is in the 2nd stage realm, I wouldn't be afraid. And little Kunlun, it actually has the ability to beat up innate talents. Lin Ling touched the vine which was wrapped around his left arm. Towards this mysterious vine, he was getting more and more curious. As though it had sensed Lin Ling's words, the little leaves on the vine started to sway, giving off an extremely adorable feeling. Realgar, I'm here to kill you. After his ability had increased greatly, the current Lin Ling wasn't afraid of anything. If God blocked him, he would kill God, if Buddha blocked him, he would destroy Buddha. At this very moment, at the location where the battle took place 3 days ago, everyone was still waiting there quietly as they surrounded Realgar, discussing animatedly. I wonder how it is now. Lin Ling is really crazy, stirring up the 9 dragons and 18 ravines. From what I see, he's dead for sure. Let's just wait for the good news. As for Realgar, his expression was extremely grave, but he consoled himself that how could Lin Ling be that senior's opponent, definitely not. Realgar, I'm here. But at this moment, a sharp roar was heard from afar, causing the sky to change color. A slender figure mixed with a sharp aura, as though he was a war god, walked over from the sky. Every step he took was as though an emperor was shaking, causing the 9 dragons and 18 ravines to shake. Lin Ling, you're back. Looking at that figure, the surrounding people felt as though they were struck by lightning. 3 days ago, Lin Ling arrived in a tyrannical manner, sweeping away all the elite geniuses in the 100 sect tournament and finally attracting the sect master level practitioners. They thought that once the sect master made his move, Lin Ling would definitely be defeated. But in the end, that sect master wasn't able to take down Lin Ling, and after 3 days and 3 nights of battle, finally, Lin Ling returned victorious. Then where's Great Jade Hall's sect master? Someone's gaze started to search the surroundings. Aren't you talking rubbish? If Great Jade Hall's sect master had won, he would have appeared long ago. Someone with quick reflexes said. Everyone started to make guesses. Could it be that Great Jade Hall's sect master had lost to Lin Ling? Their faces immediately turned as ugly as the color of pig liver. Bang bang bang. Lin Ling's pace wasn't fast, but it was as if he was stepping on everyone's hearts. Every step he took made them feel a bit shorter. Some of the weaker ones even began to tremble and spit out a mouthful of blood. Plop. The one with the biggest reaction was naturally Realgar. He was so scared that he fell to the ground. Up until now, he had never placed Lin Ling in his eyes, because even though Lin Ling was the most powerful exceptional talent, he was still half a step into the ranks of Qing Province's 9 great heavens. Yet now, he was sure that Lin Ling already had the strength of one of Qing Province's 9 great heavens. You ants, scram. At this time, Lin Ling's voice floated out. It was very calm, but when it fell into the ears of the various elite geniuses, it was as loud as thunder. You ants. They were all ants. They all frowned. Eldest senior brother Dang Yin, he's calling you ants. Moreover, you said that you would protect me. Realgar looked towards everyone, trying to ask for their help. They all laughed bitterly. They had indeed said these words, but at that time, they didn't know Lin Ling was this strong. If I'm captured by him, how will you all explain this to the sect master? Realgar shouted anxiously. Finally, someone walked out. He calmly looked towards the sky and said, Qing Province's Lin Ling, we admit that you are quite formidable, but don't look down on us. If we fight to the death, you might not be able to gain an advantage. That's right, we know that you have enmity with brother Realgar, but can you give us a day's time? After a day, our sect master will arrive. If you want Realgar, feel free to do so. I hope you can give us some face. Also, even though we are not as strong as you, we are still elite geniuses. You calling us ants, I can't swallow this anger. The voices continued to ring out, causing Realgar to laugh uncontrollably. He hoped that Lin Ling would be intimidated by them and leave. This was his only hope. However, Lin Ling still continued to move forward. It was as if the words of those people were like the chirping of sparrows. When he reached the ground, he looked at the person who first came out and said, Ant, I'm not targeting you. As soon as he said this, the person's expression softened. Lin Ling was indeed giving him face. I'm saying that everyone here is an ant. However, Lin Ling's next sentence stunned everyone. This Qing Province's Lin Ling was too arrogant. They were all furious, and all of them released their aura. However, Lin Ling's expression was still calm. He quietly looked at the group of people. His gaze was as calm as the mountains and flowing water. In the eyes of the group of people, their aura gradually weakened, and their fighting spirit gradually dimmed. They didn't know why, but that gaze made them feel terrified. The calmer it was, the more terrifying it was. It was as if in another incense stick's time, if they didn't leave, they would die. Sorry, we offended you before. The young man who first came out clasped his fists, bowed, and left immediately. He had a feeling that if he didn't leave now, he wouldn't be able to. I'll also apologize. I'll leave first. Brother Realgar, I'm sorry. This is a grudge between you and him. I can't help. After someone took the lead, the others spoke up one after another. It was obvious that they were just trying to show off. However, this show of strength was destroyed by Lin Ling's gaze and calm words. I'm not targeting you. I'm just saying that everyone here is an ant. This sentence lingered in their minds. How calm, how domineering. Most importantly, they couldn't refute it, nor could they resist it. Don't go. Realger's forehead was covered in cold sweat as he watched the crowd leave anxiously. Lin Ling had become so powerful. He made the geniuses of the 100 sects of the Crimson Province flee with just one sentence. This made him feel unreal. Lin Ling didn't look at Realger. Instead, he sat cross-legged and comprehended his own strength. Not long ago, when he fought with the head of the Great Jade Pure Hall, he continuously refined his opponent's black and white energies. Not only did his first Dantian reach the 9th level of the True God Realm, even his other Dantians reached the 9th level of the True God Realm. Now, relying on the fusion of his 3 Dantians, without using martial arts, he could defeat a first-level martial immortal with just his boundary essence. Therefore, he was sure that he had already stepped into the ranks of the 9 heavens of the Green Province. So calm. Lin Ling is actually cultivating. This is a good opportunity. Why don't we make a move? If we can protect Realger, it'll be a great merit. Get out of here. Don't get us killed. I see that Lin Ling's killing intent is extremely dense. He's definitely not a soft persimmon. You're right. I shouldn't think like that. The onlookers in the distance started whispering. Even if Lin Ling was cultivating, they didn't dare to get close. As for Realger, his face was extremely gloomy. Chapter 2865. The Mastermind. Of course, Xiong Huang had thought of running away. However, every time he had this thought, Lin Ling's eyelashes would flutter and he would not dare to move. And this feeling of not being able to move up or down made him feel like years, as if he was suffering. Lin Ling continued to ignore him. Thinking back to the battle with the old man, he realized that he had gained a lot from that battle. Memories of the battle between Li Xiaoyao and the geniuses of the 9 prefectures rose in his mind. These memories had been covered in dust. Due to the passage of time, Lin Ling had forgotten about them. During this period of time, the sacred ground of the rainforest was facing a calamity. This caused the Emperor's fate to affect me. Thinking about the destruction of the 2 large commanderies, the destruction of the flickering light world and other matters, Lin Ling knew that the Son of Heaven that he possessed was also affecting him. Although he did not care about the slaughter, he did not like to be controlled and influenced by it. Tell me, who is the mastermind behind you? After an unknown amount of time, Lin Ling finally opened his eyes. His words and appearance made him look like an influential figure. However, he looked very young, which gave people a strange feeling. Xiong Huang's heart skipped a beat. He knew that this moment would come, but when it really came, he was still a little panicked. I don't know. However, when Xiong Huang thought of that lord, he gritted his teeth. Lin Ling nodded. His expression was still calm, but it was frightening. He stood up and waved his left hand. The vine appeared. Pa! The vine lashed out like a whip. Under the whip, a painful sound came from Xiong Huang's mouth. His talent was pulled out. That feeling was as painful as the soul being whipped. Ah! Xiong Huang's voice was like a pig being slaughtered, shocking the surroundings. Hearing that voice, the people in the distance were frightened. They could feel the pain Xiong Huang was in. Lin Ling, if you have the ability, kill me. Xiong Huang roared. However, Lin Ling's expression was still calm. In his eyes, his close friends from the sacred ground of the rainforest floated past like smoke. Lord Shui Wu, Taoist came, Lord Pu, there were too many. Pa! Lin Ling lashed out with his whip as each figure appeared in his mind. Furthermore, a whip formed from white radiance appeared in his right hand. He brandished the whip with both hands and struck the Realger. This whip was condensed from soul force and specialized in extracting souls. If you don't want to talk, fine. I have all the time in the world. I'll beat you until you talk. Aw. Realgar groaned in pain from the beating. Its entire body was convulsing, and it was in so much pain that snot and tears were spurting out. In the end, even his urine and feces were beaten out. His soul force was constantly trembling as it was being cut apart and split apart. However, the white whip had a miraculous effect. While it was splitting apart, it was also repairing his soul force. Just like that, it continued to split apart and repair itself, making him wish he was dead. How frightening. That terrifying scene caused the bodies of the people in the distance to tremble. In truth, to a martial artist, the pain of the mortal body was the weakest. The pain of the soul, or even the pain of having one's talent extracted, these were the true excruciating pains. Realgar. So miserable. What kind of thing did this guy do to make Lin Ling torture him like this? Who knows? I just feel that this Lin Ling is too fierce. Some of the more cowardly people even left directly because they didn't dare to look at that tragic scene anymore. Ha ha ha, 9th of September wine. Realgar, who was being whipped, seemed to have gone crazy and was laughing loudly. In truth, it was a painful laugh. Don't hit me anymore. I will kowtow to you. I will call you ancestor. Spare me. However, after the laughter, it turned into tears. His tears dyed the ground wet. However, Lin Ling did not seem to hear it. He continued to whip. His face was still calm, but there was a hint of madness in his eyes. Every lash of the whip was for the sake of a close friend who had passed away. Those people had no enmity with Realgar. Because they had helped Realgar, they had all died. Lin Ling felt indignant for them. If the country is destroyed, I will destroy the world. This was the sentence left behind by Realgar. Lin Ling wanted him to regret this sentence. Anyone who dared to touch Lin Ling's people would be hunted down by Lin Ling even if Lin Ling had to kill them to the ends of the earth. It was useless for anyone to protect him. Pa! Following a crisp sound, the people in the distance saw a strange force rushing out from Realgar's body. Eventually, it turned into ashes. That seems to be an innate talent. Oh my God, he destroyed Realgar's innate talent. Realizing this, the people's faces turned pale. What a terrifying vine. This meant that even if Realgar was still a martial artist, he could no longer display the power of his innate talent. His combat power had been reduced by at least 70%. My innate talent. Realgar was in the most pain. In fact, he was also a very good genius. Otherwise, he would not have been valued by the Empress Dowager. But now, he was half a cripple. With the Empress Dowager's ruthless character, he knew that even if he returned alive, the Empress Dowager would not spare his life. This meant that he, Realgar, was finished. He was completely finished. And the reason for all this was that he had provoked Lin Ling. What sin have I committed? There are so many worlds in the North region. Why did I have to destroy the rainforest sacred land? Realgar groaned, but it could not stop Lin Ling's whip. In fact, he was lashing more and more fiercely. It was as if the blood debt of everyone in the rainforest sacred land was all on Realgar. And the rainforest sacred land had countless people. However many people there were, Lin Ling would lash out as many times. I will tell you who the murderer is. I beg you to stop. Lin Ling, I was wrong. Please let me go. The murderer is the Empress Dowager. She obtained the Son of Heaven's mandate. That is the Son of Heaven's mandate that requires souls and bodies. Therefore, not only did she want to kill, she also wanted to obtain a large amount of souls. In the end, Realgar finally revealed the murderer. Lin Ling's whip finally stopped. His expression was grave as he raised his hand and looked at the horizon. The Empress Dowager. Emperor Qing's woman. All of this was indeed related to the Son of Heaven's mandate. In order to become the Emperor Qing, the Empress Dowager actually made the innocent people of the world sell their lives for her. What a vicious woman. Although Lin Ling had destroyed 2 large commanderies and destroyed the flickering world, he had killed countless people. However, Lin Ling had his own principles when it came to killing people. He did not kill for the Son of Heaven's mandate. Who else? Lin Ling's voice was very gloomy. There are also the Luo Sha Thorn and the Sun Bone. They asked me to help them destroy the rainforest sacred land. Realgar quickly answered Lin Ling. After Lin Ling withdrew his whip, Realgar finally heaved a sigh of relief. However, his heart was filled with bitterness. Previously, he had planned to not say anything even if he was beaten to death. However, Lin Ling did not say anything and used the divine whip on him. In the end, he did not need Lin Ling to ask. He was beaten to the point where he was forced to speak. They are indeed involved. Lin Ling gritted his teeth like a ferocious lone wolf. Chapter 2866. Surrender and await capture. Lin Ling, stop hitting me. I've already told you. Why are you still hitting me? Realgar's tears flowed out as he knelt down and begged for mercy. His body trembled as his soul was being whipped. There are hundreds of millions of people in the sacred land of the rainforest. How can I let you off just because you're begging for mercy? Are their lives not lives? If I don't avenge them, who will avenge them? Lin Ling roared as his whip became even more frenzied. Rumble. Behind Realgar, the ancient basalt rocks were crushed into powder by the aura emitted by the whip. If I don't avenge them, who will avenge them? That domineering and resolute voice swept through the world like a violent storm. He really came to avenge them. That crazy Lin Ling. He came all the way from Qingzhou to Crimson Prefecture just to avenge them. He's the only madman in the world who dares to do so. The people in the distance looked at Lin Ling. They knew why Lin Ling was so angry. Realgar must have done something that made him angry. As for the enmity between martial artists, unless they had killed each other's father, they would rarely implicate their family members. Therefore, Realgar was also a taboo. That was because he didn't have any feud with Lin Ling Bang. After countless whips, Realgar finally fainted. Lin Ling held the long whip in his hand. His breathing was rapid and his eyes were red. No one knew what he was thinking. Empress Dowager, I, Lin Ling, will find you. Finally, he muttered to himself. With a wave of his left hand, the vine turned into a rope and tied Realgar up. Then, Lin Ling walked into the distance. Rumble. It was as if he was carrying a dead dog. Wherever he passed, the Realgar would crash into the black tortoise ancient rocks, causing them to shatter. Is that guy going to bring Realgar back just like that? Seeing Lin Ling's actions, many people had their own guesses. Then, they laughed bitterly. Realgar offended Lin Ling. It was as if it had offended a malefic star that it shouldn't have offended in its lifetime. Lin Ling didn't care about the gazes around him. He put on the large cloak again and gradually disappeared into the distance. Wherever he passed, people respectfully opened a path for him. After an unknown amount of time, figures came from afar. When they saw the scene in front of them, their faces were extremely ugly. Where's Realgar? An elder roared. Realgar was lost in front of them. How were they going to explain it to the Empress Dowager? It was taken away by Lin Ling of Qingzhou. The surrounding elite geniuses said bitterly. What? Those sect leaders and elders were all stunned, unable to believe the crowd's words. There are so many of you, including 3 elders and a sect master, yet none of you were able to stop him? You must be joking. The first old man roared angrily. Senior, do we look like we're kidding? That Lin Ling is crazy. He defeated everyone by himself and stirred up chaos. None of us can stop him. The disciples said one after another. The smiles on their faces were even more bitter. Hearing that, the sect leaders fell silent. Their hearts were pounding. At first, they thought that Lin Ling was inferior to the disciples of the 100 sects. But now, they felt that they had underestimated Lin Ling. Find him. Don't let him leave the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. The elder gave the final order. Lin Ling really wanted to leave the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. However, this place was too big and he didn't know how to leave. Rumble. He dragged the realgar and continued to walk forward. Looking from afar, this scene was extremely shocking. The people they met along the way were also eye-opening. However, when they saw that Lin Ling was wearing a large cloak, they didn't dare to ask anything. How do I leave this place? Lin Ling naturally noticed the people in the distance and asked coldly. Senior, you can't leave this place. You can only leave after half a year. Although they didn't know who Lin Ling was talking to, the elite geniuses in the distance still replied respectfully. So troublesome. Lin Ling walked forward again. It seemed that there was a time limit to the 100 sect conference. This meant that he could only endure for half a year. Have you seen Lin Ling? After Lin Ling disappeared for a long time, a large number of people stepped on ancient rocks and leaped over like dragonflies. The person in the lead was very young, but he had a strong sense of majesty. You are. The people around him immediately replied solemnly. They felt bitter. Previously, they saw the cloaked man dragging a dog. He seemed to be very powerful. Now, they encountered a group of people whose strength was hard to see through. Why were they so unlucky? Could it be that this group of people was here to snatch the mysterious light grass? I'm Wang Guangming from the Star Sect. The young man in the lead said indifferently. It's you. Hearing that, the faces of the elite geniuses changed drastically. This was an extremely powerful existence in the 100 sect conference. It was rumored that he was even stronger than the sect leader of a 4th grade orthodox martial arts sect. Speak. The young man's face became even colder. We don't know who Lin Ling is. The elite geniuses said bitterly. However, one of them seemed to have thought of something. Could it be the cloaked man who passed by earlier? What is he like? He's very mysterious. He's holding a vine and dragging a dog behind him. However, I didn't see clearly. The thing he's dragging seems to be a person. Chase. Hearing that, the young man led the group forward. He had received a mission from the sect leader, which was to save Xiong Huang no matter what. Qingzhou Lin Ling, I've underestimated you. However, my strength is comparable to the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. I'd like to see how powerful you are. The young man's eyes kept flickering with excitement. Right now, no one could save Xiong Huang except for him. Therefore, if he succeeded, he would be able to obtain a favor from the Empress Dowager of the Great Azure God Dynasty. I see it. It's in front. Ahead. After an unknown period of time, the junior brother beside him suddenly shouted in surprise. The young man named Wang Guang was also delighted. However, when he saw Lin Ling's appearance, he was secretly shocked. On the ground, the cloaked man was like a lone ranger. He strolled in the lonely Xuanwu ancient rock, disappearing and reappearing. Behind him, there was a vine that tied up a young man. That young man was in a miserable state. His long hair was messy, and his face was full of snot and tears. He looked like a dog. There was no doubt that it was Xiong Huang. They did not expect that Xiong Huang would end up in such a situation, being dragged around like a dog. Moreover, Lin Ling should know that the 100 sects were looking for him. Instead of hiding, he walked freely. This scene was very unreal. Stop him. Stop him. Wang Guang waved his hand. Whoosh. The crowd immediately spread out and rushed forward, surrounding Lin Ling. Every one of them was sneering. "Lin Ling, surrender and we can spare your life," one of them shouted. Chapter 2867. I'm afraid I'll kill you. The group of people were all in the true God realm. However, one of them was in the first level of the martial immortal realm. Moreover, his talent was not weak. He had a 7th level awakened divine body, which was even stronger than the old man he defeated earlier. Lin Ling, put down the realgar. Wang Guangming also looked at Lin Ling. After discovering that Lin Ling was in the 9th level of the true God realm, he shook his head in disdain. He pointed at Lin Ling and said, "Lin Ling from the Azure province, I'll give you 2 choices. 1. Let them go and kneel down to admit your mistake. 2. Fight with me. I'd like to see how powerful the geniuses from the Azure province are." "That's right. Lin Ling, which one do you choose?" The surrounding junior brothers also began to roar. Lin Ling finally slowly took off his hat. "You really want to fight? Huh, you're scared. Is this all you've got in the Azure province? A bunch of cowards." Wang Guangming sneered. His tone was filled with disdain. Hearing that, Lin Ling also sneered. "I'm afraid I'll kill you." "Kill us?" Wang Guangming seemed to have misheard something. The crowd was also stunned. Then, laughter rang out. They also knew that Lin Ling had defeated the head of the Great Jade Pure Hall. However, Wang Guangming was not weaker than the head of the Great Jade Pure Hall. Not only was he in the martial immortal realm, he also had talent that surpassed the head of the Great Jade Pure Hall. He was a genius that everyone revered in the 100 sect gathering. Lin Ling was in the 9th level of the true God realm. Moreover, he had many trump cards. Everyone knew that. However, that wasn't enough to defeat Wang Guangming. "Huh, then try to kill us. Let me tell you. Even if Senior Guangming spares your life, we won't spare you. Since you dared to come to the Scarlet Province, even if you're one of the 9 heavens of the Azure Province, you'll still have to obediently lie down." Angry shouts rang out. There were even people who laughed loudly. Their laughter was filled with disdain. After the crowd spoke, Wang Guangming also walked out. His whole body became dazzling. Golden light, white, blue, red, and even black light appeared and condensed on his body. It made people feel like they wanted to worship him. A rank 7 awakened divine body was indeed extraordinary. Its aura was so strong that it could make people feel pressured. I've long wanted to meet the 9 heavens of Qing province, but I never had the chance to meet them. Then, I'll start with you. Wang Guangming said calmly after unleashing his powerful talent. To be honest, you seem to have stepped into the ranks of the 9 heavens of Qing province, but if you really want to fight, you still can't compare to them. Lin Ling also raised his head and shook his head. Is he evaluating senior brother Guangming as a senior? Haha, he must be crazy. Not only did people mock Lin Ling, but they also sympathized with Lin Ling. This was because Lin Ling had no idea what it meant to be a genius of the Crimson Province. Kid, your mouth is very powerful, but I wonder if your strength is as good as yours. Wang Guangming was so angry that he laughed because he thought that Lin Ling would treat him seriously. Who knew that Lin Ling's words were filled with disdain? Did Lin Ling have the qualifications to do so? Crackle. A long halberd appeared in his hand. It was also shining brightly, stirring up the wind and clouds. Senior brother Guangming is so handsome. Seeing this, the female disciples around also cheered and their eyes were filled with admiration. The long halberd was mixed with surging realm essence. In addition to Wang Guangming's powerful talent, it was faster than light and pierced towards Lin Ling. At this moment, the sky suddenly changed color. All the light was controlled by Wang Guangming. It was extremely powerful. However, at this moment, Lin Ling also made his move. With a clap of his right hand, the tyrannical Song sword shot out. However, his left hand was the most terrifying move. The vine released the realgar and threw it towards Wang Guangming's whip like a snake. After the whip was released, the realgar woke up and shouted excitedly, "Save me, save me!" Slap! However, the mysterious vine was unpredictable. It extracted the wind from the universe and suddenly appeared beside Wang Guangming like an ancient law. That strange appearance made Wang Guangming's expression change slightly. However, he believed in his talent because he was light. Who had seen someone who could defeat light? When the sword slashed towards the light was completely unharmed. The only nemesis of light was darkness. Only darkness could expel light. Therefore, Wang Guangming was very confident in his talent. Slap! However, this time, he was obviously going to be disappointed. That was because little Kunlun specialized in extracting talent. Under the whip, Wang Guangming found that the strength in his body was drained. Then, his dantian was in pain. Above his head, a colorful light was drawn out. This caused the power of the long halberd that he used to attack to be greatly reduced. His expression changed drastically. How could this be? Rumble. However, at this moment, a huge ancient sword came slashing down from the sky. Wang Guangming, who had lost 70% of his strength, widened his eyes. He could only watch as the giant sword got closer and closer to his eyes. In fact, that sword wasn't very strong to him. However, that was under the premise that he still had his innate talent. Therefore, he only felt a sense of helplessness in the face of that sword. Bang! Bang! Without a word, the sword directly slashed Wang Guangming into pieces. Almost at the same time, a cloaked figure holding a huge sword floated down from the sky. On the ground, everyone was silent. The realgar's expectant face turned pale. Of course, he recognized Wang Guangming. He was an existence comparable to the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. However, he could not block Lin Ling's sword. In fact, you're even weaker than the leader of the Great Jade Pure Hall. At the same time, Lin Ling's voice drifted out like the wind. That was indeed the case. Lin Ling knew that Wang Guangming relied too much on his talent. With little Kunlun, any person with great talent would be greatly reduced when they met Lin Ling. Without talent, Wang Guangming was only an ordinary first-level martial immortal. Senior brother died just like that. One sword. After a moment of silence, people began to mumble to themselves. Then, their hearts rumbled. Senior brother Wang Guangming was more powerful than many sect leaders. He had participated in the sect leader competition and defeated many sect leaders. He was also designated as the next sect leader of the Full Moon sect. However, such a terrifying genius had been slain by Yi Fujian. Moreover, it was with one sword. At this moment, they could not laugh. I told you not to court death. Lin Ling put on his hat again. However, his indifferent gaze looked through the hat at the remaining people. Leave your treasures behind and then leave. If I really attack, you'll all end up dead. Also, don't think about informing your sect leader. Even if he comes, he might also end up dead. A soft voice drifted out of Lin Ling's mouth at the same time. Hearing that, people's hearts trembled fiercely. This Lin Ling of Qingzhou was too arrogant. Even if the sect leader came, he would also die. Although they did not believe Lin Ling's words, they could only bow down to Lin Ling. Therefore, they all left their treasures behind and fled into the distance. Chapter 2868. Unbridled. Realgar, do you really think that someone can save you? Lin Ling kept little Kunlun and tied Realgar up again, dragging him forward like a dog. This caused Realgar's heart to turn to ashes. Could it be that Lin Ling was going to do whatever he wanted in the 100 sect meet? As for the treasures in the surroundings, Lin Ling had collected all of them, and there were quite a number of black light grass. Previously, he had considered that since he couldn't leave in the short term, he would try his best to collect treasures and raise his strength at the same time. In the following period of time, Lin Ling dragged Realgar forward and collected all the black light grass that he encountered along the way. Furthermore, with the help of the treasures that he had plundered, he naturally reached the 10th level of the True God realm 3 months later. However, after raising his cultivation level, Lin Ling did not stop cultivating and continued to comprehend the ultimate martial Tao. Currently, his ultimate sword Tao was very powerful. It was a Tao domain and possessed more than 100% chaotic energy. However, the Azura sword array had also been cultivated to the peak, so there was only a slight increase in its power. This caused Lin Ling's gaze to fall on the evil flame change. The evil flame change had 6 changes, which were evil flame change, heaven shocking change, wind and cloud change, heaven and earth change, heaven and earth change. The last change, heaven and earth change. This required an enormous amount of boundary essence to support it. Therefore, even the evil flame god found it difficult to comprehend it. However, Lin Ling possessed 3 dantians and boundary essence was not a problem. The last change was comprehending the power of the universe. This was a power that was even more ancient than chaotic energy. Under the ancient rock, Lin Ling sat cross-legged with his eyes slightly closed. His delicate and handsome face was frowning and unfurling from time to time. Around him, fist-sized flaming coffins floated like gorgeous flaming butterflies. Not far away, Realgar was still tied up, but his expression was extremely ugly. During this period of time, he had watched as Lin Ling broke through his cultivation level repeatedly. He realized that Lin Ling's cultivation seemed to have no bottlenecks at all. In fact, Lin Ling gave him the feeling of a martial arts legend. Now, when he saw a large number of small coffins floating around Lin Ling, he immediately became frightened. If he remembered correctly, that was the flame coffin. This was also the martial art that Lin Ling relied on to become famous. But now, there wasn't just one coffin, but hundreds of them. It was hard to imagine. If these coffins were to fall to the ground, then myriad worlds would be destroyed. His Tao of fire is rising at a crazy rate. I'm afraid he has already reached the Tao domain of the ultimate martial Tao. Furthermore, he's in a very peak state. Why is his perception so strong? Right now, in Qin province, he would be a true giant. I'm afraid he would be ranked in the top few of the 9 heavens in Qin province. I actually provoked such a monstrous character. I regret it so much. A large number of thoughts appeared in Realgar's mind. However, Realgar's guess wasn't wrong. Lin Ling's evil flame transformation's final transformation, heaven and earth transformation, not only did it raise Lin Ling's boundary essence to the 3rd level, it also raised his speed by a huge margin, and added another 10% of the power of the universe. Moreover, after activating the heaven and earth transformation, Lin Ling had the speed of 11 worlds. And by relying on the godly demon body, it was also the speed of 9 worlds. It could be said that as long as it was the 1st level of the martial immortal realm, Lin Ling could kill him effortlessly. After an unknown period of time, Lin Ling finally stood up and said with a smile, "There's still 1 more month." After saying that, he dragged Realgar and set off on his journey again. Moreover, his advance could be said to be unrestrained. That's Qin province's Lin Ling. He appeared again. Last month, he defeated the head of the Lutian water sect, Venerable Yunzhou. Yes. Now, there are not many people who dare to face the head of the 100 sect gathering. This expert took Realgar away just like that. Our 100 sect gathering can't do anything about it and let him run rampant. Many of the people who discovered Lin Ling began to discuss among themselves. In the nearby area, Qin province's Lin Ling could be said to have risen to fame like a ferocious dragon crossing the river. People no longer treated him as a genius, but as a head. However, What was ironic was that Lin Ling was very young and had cultivated for less than 2,000 years. Lin Ling did not care about the gazes of the people in the 100 sect gathering. His goal was to bring Realgar out of here. Therefore, he dragged Realgar further and further away. On this day, he discovered that the surrounding rocks had started to change color and turned into a blood-red color. The 18 ravines of the 9 dragons is very, very big. Even the head of the 100 sect gathering has not traveled through it. What exactly is this place? Looking at the blood-red rocks indifferently, Lin Ling frowned and said. Now, he could not leave even if he wanted to. All the mysterious light grass in the nearby area had been plundered by him. Therefore, he was very depressed. Lin Ling, you've already walked out of the territory of the 100 sect gathering. At this moment, Realgar, who was tied up, said coldly. That's right. You've already arrived at the territory to the east of the Crimson Province. At this time, a middle-aged man suddenly appeared on top of a massive blood-red ancient rock. He looked down at Lin Ling, but there was a trace of surprise in the depths of his eyes. This was because he discovered that this mysterious cloaked figure didn't seem to be someone from his side. What do you mean by that? Lin Ling, who was wearing a large cloak, asked indifferently. This time, the middle-aged man was even more surprised because Lin Ling's reaction was too calm. One must know that he was an expert at the second level of the martial immortal realm and the head of a sect. However, the mysterious cloaked man did not panic at all when he saw him. The Crimson Province is divided into 4 directions, east, west, north, and south. The 100 sect gathering is a sect gathering that represents the 4 directions. You may be from the sect to the west of the Crimson Province, but this is the territory to the east of the Crimson Province, said the middle-aged man. I see. Lin Ling nodded. The 18 ravines of the 9 dragons was larger than he had imagined. The 100 sect gathering represented the entire Crimson Province. The area he was in previously was only one of the 100 great sects in one of the regions. This further showed that the Crimson Province was stronger than the Qin Province. After all, in the area he was in previously, many people were more powerful than the experts in the Qin Province, not to mention the area he was in now. Sir, are you interested in traveling with me? The middle-aged man pondered for a while and suddenly smiled. Then, he explained, it's like this. We came across a secret realm in the 18 ravines of the 9 dragons. It's called the Dragon Scale Secret Realm and we found many treasures. However, our opponent, the Twin Dragon sect, appeared and killed many of our people and seized many treasures. Therefore, we need help now. Your sect? You're the head of a sect? Lin Ling asked indifferently. That's right. I'm the head of the Jialan Ancient Martial Arts sect. I've reached an agreement with a few other sect heads to form an alliance. However, the Twin Dragons sect is an old rival. They have gathered many sects to form an alliance to snatch treasures. Of course, the most important thing is that they found an old monster from somewhere. He's very powerful and has 20% of the power of the universe. Most of us only have 10% of the power of the universe. Therefore, we're no match for him, said the middle-aged man slowly. However, when he mentioned the Twin Dragon sect, he gritted his teeth. I'm only at the True God realm. Do you think I can help? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.